when Keon checks in and you had 3 different media members, maybe even 5 different media members all chime in and say all of the owner and the GM, they all left when Keon went in. They must hate Keon. Then they came back, so everybody had to quote tweet and say they've returned. So just a complete mess already. I saw from Keith Smith, just a gentle reminder, we are 3 weeks into the season. The season is 3 weeks old. That's how Keith Smith said it. 3 weeks old. And this is what we're dealing with already. And I don't necessarily want to sit here and just bag on a team because it's different, right? Every year I've been here, there have been different situations. Okay? That first season after the Beam team, I think had the highest expectations. You're coming off a season where you get to the playoffs. Naturally, the thought process is you're going to get to the playoffs again. You're going to make whatever it is that wasn't working work better, and you are going to continue to improve. That didn't happen. And then last season, more of the same, but you had the De'Aaron Fox kind of drama going on. Not sure where that was going to go. But I don't think the expectations were the same. DeMar DeRozan came in. Yes, he's a better talent than Harrison Barnes. Did he fit better than Harrison Barnes? Didn't feel like it. Didn't necessarily feel like it. So going into this season, then you lose De'Aaron Fox. You trade him. You fire Mike Brown. So then this season with the Zach LaVine era going on, no clue. Absolutely no clue what the expectations are. And as we sit here, I've said this before, and I said this on social media last night. And I'm just going to quote myself because I want to make sure I get it correctly. Okay? And this is what I said last night. My biggest question to Kings decision makers, whether it be the owner, to Scott Perry, BJ Armstrong, all of the Kings decision makers, right? My biggest question to Kings decision makers is simple. Deep down in your heart of hearts, truth serum, all of it. How do you think fans should feel about the Kings? That's what I want to know. How do you actually think Kings fans should feel about the Kings? Because in my opinion, it feels like, you know, when you be at your parents' house, you were growing up, so it's just your house, right? And my mom loved Yadros. There's a throwback. Kyle doesn't even know what a Yadro is.
No idea.
But a Yadro it's these, you know, it's like it's like a glass, not glass, it's like a ceramic, a very nice ceramic sculpture, right? And my mom and my dad, they had these Yadros all in our living room, okay? All in our living room. And I never actually did break one, but I've always was afraid to break one. And what it feels like is if you broke a Yadro in your parents' house, right? You broke it. Now, I did do other stuff before my parents came home. And, you know, I broke enough stuff to where I broke it at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. when I get home from school. Parents going to be home about 5, 6 o'clock. So you're running around trying to figure out what in the world you're going to do. So you grab some Gorilla Glue. You go to the garage. You run around. And you are hoping that your parents don't notice that the Yadro's broken. You're hoping you did enough to fix it. And you're just going to go about your day. I've been very open about my struggles in mathematics, right? Back in the day. Give them the report card. They see social studies. They see English, A, B, B+, B-, all the way down. And I'm just hoping that they don't notice the C, if I'm lucky, in Algebra 2. That's what I'm hoping. You're just hoping that they just happen to miss it for whatever reason. And that's what it feels like it's happening. You are just going about your business, sitting courtside, hoping that Kings fans... By the way, I got to say that when they panned to it, because I couldn't go to the game last night, when they panned, yeah, let's put it like this. There was a lot of availability. If you wanted to go to that game last night, seems like it would have been pretty easy to get into the game. And I was there on Friday, And I'll tell you this much again. Defending champs in the building, Kempton Sawyer night. And it felt like, again, there was availability. We'll put it like that. And if there continues to be availability, I think that heads are going to roll. Now let's get to Doug Christie. And Doug Christie is taking a lot of heat from two sides of the coin. You got Kings fans that are mad about, actually three sides of the coin. You got Kings fans that are mad about Keon Ellis. They were chanting Keon Ellis' name last night. You have Russell Westbrook fans that are mad that Russell Westbrook wasn't getting enough time. Okay, he didn't start last night. So you have that going on. And then you have Russell Westbrook fans that are also mad that Keon's not playing. Because even they see, well, you're saying one thing and doing another. And this is what I have to say. Conversations are being floated around, as they often do. And this is not a tinfoil hat thing, as you know I always love to get into. This is not a tinfoil hat thing. In general, it is not a surprise, and we've had NBA players and coaches say it on all the 8,000 different podcasts that are out there. We've had plenty of people come forward and say, yeah, I was told I wasn't playing because I wasn't making X amount of dollars. I was told I wasn't able to play this person instead of that person because of X amount of dollars or because of whatever NBA politics term you want to use. Is that a thing that happens in the NBA? It is. And a lot of people are on record saying it. So I don't know how much heat Doug should get. Because if you looked up the types of players that Doug would like to play in the dictionary, it feels like you wouldn't get too far down without getting to Keon Ellis. So you're right to think, Allen, something ain't adding up. And we know for a fact that this has happened in NBA spaces before. So as far as how much heat should go on Doug, we're going to talk about a pie chart a little bit later. I do not know. But what we do know is that in general, this happens in the NBA. And what we do know is, as Kyle pointed out last week, there was a closing lineup. I know there were a couple guys injured. There was a closing lineup when 4 out of the 5 guys were who? Scott Perry guys. They were. And that's a fact. That's a fact. So you have that. Keon, who they made a decision on to pick up that option, he will be an unrestricted free agent. That commitment level versus if they had not picked up the option, he had become a restricted free agent. Hey, we know we're going to have an opportunity to grab him. Where does that commitment lie? And then on top of that, also trying to keep everything above water. Now, last night in particular didn't make very much sense because Russ, who had been playing really well, if you were trying to keep things above water, then that doesn't make a ton of sense, right? Because Russ had been that guy, and he didn't play as much as he'd been playing last night. Then you get to the Dennis Schroeder of it all. Dennis Schroeder, the big acquisition, coming on over, fresh off an MVP from Eurobasket, $15 million a year. That guy's got to get time, you would think. Now, $15 million a year, it ain't 47, it ain't Zach LaVine, it ain't Domantas Sabonis money. But y'all remember how they were talking about Dennis Schroeder? Do you remember that? You remember how I was scratching my head a little bit at what they had been saying? Oh, you know, Dennis Schroeder, we think he is going to be this pillar, blah, blah, blah. The guy has been on a ton of teams, and it's because he's a good player, don't get me wrong. But deciding now that we are going to move forward with Dennis Schroeder as our point guard pillar of the future when nobody else has done that. Again, it's one thing to try to be the smartest person in the room and be right. The problem is when you're wrong, it looks really wrong. Hey, let's go get Anthony Bennett from the Cavs. If that had hit, that'd be right. Yang on the Blazers, they're and the Blazers have been great. They are Blazers fans are kind of killing the front office because Yang can't get on the court. Smartest people in the room. Sometimes you just got to do the normal thing, and sometimes you just have to follow the trend as to what people are trying to tell you. And that hasn't happened. That has not happened so far. They have tried to buck the trend and say, we're going to make this work. We're going to double down. Shout out Matt George. We're going to triple down. We're going to continue to do it. And I told this story before, and I'll tell it again. On a day like today, it feels apropos to bring it back to light. A lot of you know, as I've said before, if you listen to the show, that I came over from the tech world, right? I was working part-time in the radio space in the Bay Area, and I was doing it while I had a full-time job in the tech world, right? Working in apps, things like that, product operations, many moons ago now, it feels like. Well, there was a situation where our first CEO kind of got forced out. It was a little hairy what ended up happening. So that CEO gets forced out, AKA he decides to leave and take a different job somewhere else. You never really know how this stuff goes down. So that all happens, and a new CEO comes in. And the new CEO comes in, and it was very clear that she was going to be a scapegoat, right? They scapegoated the previous guy, but it was one of the darkest times in the company. There was layoffs, just a lot of bad stuff. She only lasted about a year or so, right? Now, when it was time for the company to move on from her, there really wasn't a lot of argument. There really wasn't a lot of drama. She went on to go to another spot. Everything seemed kind of honky-dory. Then they brought in somebody that was connected to the board. And it was very clear that they were fully committed to this now CEO that is connected to the board. So why am I bringing all this up? Because the question that I used to ask my coworkers, the biggest question we would have at lunchtime back in the day, that was pre-pandemic, so we got free lunches every day. It was great. And we always wondered, did she know what she was signing up for? Because we would look at it a little bit differently. Was there a decision, hey, you're going to come in, you're going to kind of be the face of this bridge era, if you will, and when we feel like we have somebody that can take us to the promised land, we are going to move on from you. But in the meantime, you get to put a CEO on your resume, you get paid handsomely, and we'll make sure that you'll be taken care of when you get out of here. I don't know how often that happens in the NBA world, but I do know that it happens. I do know that it happens. This is something that is not an Allen Stiles thing. This is not a tinfoil hat thing. But when I see how Doug is getting just hammered every single night, and they're literally chanting Keon Ellis, and then you start looking through what the logistics tell you. Okay, well, let's see here. Keon making a couple mil. Okay, they could easily lose him at the end of the season, trying to win basketball games. All right, defense, but Russ, he's kind of doing his thing. Okay, they got what? At least $30 million tied up to Dennis Schroeder. That's the big name. Okay, you got Zach LaVine here too. He's making a ton of money. Okay, you got DeMar DeRozan. That's the big name. They not like us. Okay, you got Domantas Sabonis. Obviously, Keon's not going to miss time. Okay, you got Nick Clifford, the big bad first rounder that everybody's excited about. He got to get his time. You start looking around and you start wondering, somebody's got to get squeezed out. Now, I understand why fans are upset and confused because you're saying one thing, and there are some real contradictory quotes in here, real contradictory quotes. And I've been the person that always said, hey, based on who Keon is, what he is, I do think that there are some purple lenses going on. I am that guy. But yes, when you look at a team, there was a play yesterday where, you know what? It was on Friday, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander literally just moonwalked to the basket. He just moseyed to the basket from the top of the key, just no resistance. And we're sitting here talking about, oh, they need more time. They need this, they need that. Average age of 32.6. The average age on the Kings is 32.6. That is somebody that is, I guess, still in their prime, but closer to the other side.
Oh, in the modern NBA, your prime is like 24 to 31. So if the average age is 32, we're a few years past that prime for a lot of them.
And we're going to sit here and talk about they need more time. And maybe they do need more time together. They can get Keegan Murray back. But this is what we tried to tell y'all at the beginning of the season. There might not be enough time to get Keegan back. This thing might be done. And last night was a complete bloodbath. Them sitting there courtside as the fans, those who were even there, chanting, "We want Keon," or "We want Keon Ellis," whatever it was. And you know what? I actually kind of feel bad for Keon because you know what happens next, right? We've seen this before. We saw it with Trey Lance. We saw it with other guys. We've seen it a little bit with Shedeur. You can do absolutely nothing and become a distraction. That D word is very broad. And I understand Kings fans and how much you love Keon. But you got to be careful with this stuff. And I'm not saying not to chant, speak your mind. I don't police fandom. But once somebody gets looked at as a distraction, I don't know how often ownership and front offices and coaching staffs are willing to bend the knee to fans, right? And say, all right, let's put Keon in. Because it's embarrassing. I think everybody throughout that organization was embarrassed last night. Because you know what? It's the same thing that I felt. Hey, OKC was one thing. They're the champs. Chet was back. Their average age is probably 23, maybe lower than that. Cool. They're the champs. That's one thing. I think that there is a reason everybody was in the building. I think that they thought that this could be a very nice bounce back. After Doug said himself, I think they're going to come back and play. I think they're going to come back, bounce back after a terrible game. I think a lot of people, myself included, I'm not that high on the Timberwolves. So I think there was a reason so many people from the front office and ownership was in the building last night. Because that was supposed to be a celebration. That was supposed to be a, hey, yeah, we lost to the Thunder. Let's come back. Let's do what we need to do. The Timberwolves aren't as good. You got what's left of Mike Conley. You got Dante DiVincenzo with the face mask on. You got Jaden Daniels, who's good, right? He's good. But we got Keegan, not right now, but we got Keegan. And we got Ant, who's just a chucker. And Rudy Gobert, who's just a big dude. So this is the day that we're all going to come through and celebrate beating Ant, beating Gobert, beating a Western Conference Finals appearance team. Yesterday, I think, this is my opinion, I think it was supposed to be a big celebration bounce back. And everybody was supposed to feel good about it. And they got their butts whooped. They got beat good. They got beat real good. Beat down. They got embarrassed again. And I think we're gonna look good today, right? I remember I got cooked by my high school baseball coach, okay? So we had to run this thing. It was a 5K. Why we were running 5Ks in high school baseball, I don't know. We also swam at 6 a.m. Bizarre.
I don't know. You were an outfielder at least.
It was stupid. So we had to run something called Big Mama. And Big Mama was a 5K, okay? So every Tuesday, we'd have to run Big Mama. And my coach would say, hey, guys, before you take off, give us what your prediction will be or what your goal is to run Big Mama in. So I said, I don't know, coach. You know, this is back in the day. Don't get me wrong. You know, sophomore, junior. I said, hey, coach, I think I can run Big Mama in about 27 minutes. 27 minutes is a 9-minute mile, right? It's fine. I did not run it in 27 minutes. I ran it in about 32. And I got back, And my coach said to me, Allen, that was terrible. I don't know where you got that thought process from. You're not even close to your goals. That was a mess. And next time you want to bring your goals out and predict something, you need to come correct and you need to be better. And I looked at him and I said, you're right. I was not ready. I was not ready for Big Mama. And last night, as Doug continues to, I don't even think on purpose, write checks that his team can't cash, it looks worse. It looks worse. And as the old saying goes, you die, or I should say retire a hero, or you stay around to coach or be a GM, ask Vladi, long enough to see yourself become a villain. 4 hours with you. Let's get into it. No guests today because I want the phone lines open all day long for you, 916-339-1140. We're going to hear from Kyle. I just talked for 30 minutes straight. We're going to hear from Kyle. We are going to hear from a lot of different people today. How are you feeling? Are you buying the conspiracies? Somebody explain this to me. Let's get our tinfoil hats on or not. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Smarter clean in half the time. Brought to you by Swiffer Power Mop. Tired of the mop and bucket struggle? The Swiffer Power Mop gives you a mop and bucket clean without all the extra work. It's an all-in-one cleaning tool that mops smarter, not harder. With built-in solution that breaks down dirt and grime. And a pad with over 300 scrubbing strips to absorb and lock sticky messes. It even gets into places a regular mop can't. And leaves your home smelling fresh for hours. Try the Swiffer Power Mop today. Love it or your money back.
Footballs are flying. The days are getting shorter. Fall is officially here. Will your heater be able to get you through the winter? The heater at Whiteywood shut down last winter. So who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Amateur players will be pleased to know that the USGA doesn't object to a friendly bet with your weekend foursome. Friendly bets include soft drinks after the round, hot dogs at the turn, or even a $2 Nassau, one of the most widely used bets in golf. It takes its name from the Nassau County Country Club of Glen Cove, Long Island, one of the many clubs frequented by the well-to-do in the late 19th century. As the story goes, matches between these clubs were often reported in the local newspapers, sometimes to the embarrassment of wealthy industrialists coming out the loser. The Nassau captain J.B. Coles Tappan then devised a format where the worst possible result could not be reported as anything more than a 3-0 defeat. In a Nassau, 3 equal wagers are placed on the first 9, the second 9, and 18-hole total. A $2 Nassau is sometimes referred to as a 2-2-2 bet. Some play better with a bet to keep their attention. Others are nervous at the thought of losing. Whatever your choice, golf is a game. Have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sepp Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sepp Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
Some nights just call for something better, a place above the noise, where the skyline glows and the energy feels effortless. That place is Revival at the Sawyer, Sacramento's rooftop escape. All November long, show your Sactown Sports app and enjoy buy one, get one half off beverages. Whether it's golden hour with friends or late night laughter under the city lights, Revival's the place to see and the place to be seen. Revival at the Sawyer, the view, the vibe, the moment. Reserve your table at revivalsacramento.com. Offer valid once per visit per person.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I felt like last week went pretty fast. Now that the season is here, we are off, rocking and rolling. We got some NFL to get to later in the show. Of course, we have Chrissy's Cuts, some of those quotes that I talked about. Kyle has cut up for us and put together, so we have that for you. And we also have some Brock Purdy stuff we're going to get into. Apparently, Brock Purdy was able to play yesterday if they wanted him to, but just felt like they didn't need him to. They end up losing. They get smacked by the Rams. And I just wonder, and I've seen this conversation going around, is there any other high-level starting quarterback that you would do that to, right? Like if Justin Herbert or any of these other guys, them at, call it 80, 90%. And again, this is Kyle Shanahan saying Brock could have went today. So they're just not doing themselves any favors, I don't think, right? If there's any idea that Mahomes, and I get it, he's in a different tier, but even that second tier, Dak, right? Not Tua. I can't stand Tua, but Dak, even a Goff, guys like that. Justin Herbert, you're going to play them. So you're kind of admitting, Kyle, not you, Kyle Shanahan, on accident, that there's not that big of a difference. That's how I take it.
Or that 80% of Brock Purdy is not 90% of Mac Jones. Because Mac Jones also has the bum knee.
Exactly. And you didn't think that Brock would have been a big enough difference to beat the Rams. And I'm not even disagreeing with Kyle. But when you're having conversations, Kyle Shanahan, we're having conversations about being elite and paying somebody $50 million, then that conversation comes up. 916-339-1140. We got this Kings box score that we're going to get into. I mean, I guess there's no point. I feel like Kyle Draper just crushed up the box score from the Oklahoma City Thunder game. There's no point in that. We will take a look at the box score for the Timberwolves. But first, we want to get to Cliff, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Cliff? Good morning. What you got for us?
Yeah, Alan, you're doing a good job with your show, and I'm under the impression that there's about 27 NBA players that drive 8 or 9 teams. The rest, the 21 other teams, are just mediocre. So my question is, which team do you think will have a total fan collapse and go bankrupt?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Cliff. I just saw recently that when it comes to, and we talked about the possible relocation with the Grizzlies, says if the Grizzlies were to entertain trading Ja Morant, they would want either a star player who can sell tickets or a boatload of picks and young players in return. That just came out from Kurt Heelan, who's the lead NBA writer, managing editor for NBCSports.com. So that's from Kurt Heelan. So that's unrealistic. Let's just start there for Ja. But you know what? As I was reading that, Cliff, I think there's a very obvious conversation. I think it's a very obvious choice. And it's the team that traded the guy that the Kings did not draft. It's the Dallas Mavericks. It's the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks, they are a complete mess right now. They're trying to trade. Everybody keeps joking, saying, what if I told you there's a 6'7", 3-and-D wing guard that's going to be available and to hide that person from Vivek. You know who I'm talking about? Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, who's been terrible.
For that bum Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson, who's been terrible. I don't want to say it's connected to dating Meg Thee Stallion because I think Klay was on the way. I mean, Klay's an older guy.
You're saying
he would fit right in with the Kings.
Say he's on that Travis Kelce plan?
He could fit right. At least Travis gives you some moments. Klay, it has not looked good.
I mean, Klay dropped, 20 points on us in the second quarter of that playing game?
I'm talking about this season. This season, it has been not good for Klay. So, Cliff, if I were to, as bad as it is for the Kings, they're both 3-7, but we keep on seeing notes about Nico Harrison possibly getting canned, and maybe canning Nico Harrison will save them, but they're 3-7. AD, surprise, surprise, no disrespect, can't stay on the court. I don't think they're going to survive until Kyrie gets back. I think if you're the Mavs, you maybe move on from Nico Harrison. I'm assuming, Kyle, they have their pick this season. I got the Tankathon up.
I assume they do. Otherwise, that would be brutal mismanagement.
Yeah, although they do have their pick. So just think again, and you could have Cooper Flagg and AJ DeBansa or Darren Peterson. I think that's the way to go for the Mavericks. So I'm torn between them and the Grizzlies. At least the Grizzlies had a good run, Cliff. I'm just going to say the Mavericks.
Interesting. You went with neither of the options I would have picked.
What, the Suns?
No, the Pelicans.
That's me being disrespectful to the Pelicans fan base.
I mean, but he said destroying of the fan base. I mean, the Pelicans are pretty much there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess it's already destroyed.
I guess Dallas is worse than Sacramento, but the Pelicans fans are actively saying, is the league actively colluding to make us bad?
Yeah.
Because Joe Dumars used to work in the league office. So their conspiracy theories are not, why is Keon Ellis not playing? Theirs are, did the NBA plant Joe Dumars in order to destroy our franchise? That's how bad things are in New Orleans.
We're going to get to, we got a ton of texts, and we have some conspiracies that we are going to read after I check them first, but we do have some conspiracies that we are going to read through. I did want to get to the box score. Like I said, I'm not going to waste my time with the box score from the Thunder game because they just don't count it, right? I think that's kind of sad too. We just don't count games against the Thunder. They're just better than us, even though they're all 10 years younger. We don't count that game. This Timberwolves game, though,
they didn't have Sabonis, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Which is the only way Hartenstein goes for 33 and 17.
That's very true. They were 5-4. The Timberwolves were going into this game. So, just trying to figure things out. But you look at what they were able to do. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo still cannot shoot. He still cannot shoot. He's 1 of 6 from three-point range. But Julius Randle, we know he always goes off. He only had 19, which I think is actually pretty good for Julius Randle's standards against the Kings, meaning normally he goes off for about 30. Jaden McDaniels, 21 points. I know we always talk about him and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who the Timberwolves also had. Yeah, and I heard it on the broadcast too. Jaden McDaniels might win Most Improved Player of the Year if he keeps this up. Offensively, he has continued to get better. Last season, he's gone from, again, being kind of a catch and shoot type guy, but now he can create for himself. He's money from the corner where he needs to be. Rudy Gobert scoring 19 points. I mean, that's crazy. And it's so funny, Zach LaVine had the quote where he said, you're not going to ask Rudy Gobert to get 30. Well, brother, he had 19. I mean, he wasn't too far off. I mean, even Rudy Gobert dropping 20 on your head is kind of crazy.
If I'm remembering correctly, too, I think Rudy scored the first 6 points of the game for the Timberwolves. And it was all dunks, obviously, but...
Yeah, I get Zach's point, but also he scored 20 on you. So...
Also, didn't Rudy in that playoff game last year against the Lakers have 30 and 24?
Right, but like I said, we get his point, but also this is crazy. Dante, I talked about, only 8 points. That dude has been terrible. He must hate the food in Minnesota. He must hate the weather. He must just hate Minnesota.
But
he's been so bad.
But he hates it more than the Knicks? Because he hated playing for the Knicks.
No, he loved the Villanova Knicks.
No, he hated Tibbs.
Yeah, but he loved the Knicks.
I don't know. He was happy to leave. That's all I'm going to say. But also...
Agree to disagree.
This kind of goes back to the Malik Monk thing. They're playing him completely out of position. He's playing point guard.
Yeah. We don't need your scoring. by the way. And Rob Dillingham, I mean, geez Louise. I mean, Rob Dillingham, 11 points, 16 minutes. I mean, this guy must just be awful. When I had to do bedtime, right? When I turned, and I had the game on, but I wasn't fully listening. When I chimed back in and heard the words Bones Highland, I went to bed. No, like I went to bed. This is what we're doing now.
Yeah. Bones Highland running point for the Timberwolves.
Bones Highland in the year of the big 2025 running point. Now, like I said, the game was over. By the way, 144 to 117. Like, that's crazy.
They had 111 points, which I had the note in here somewhere.
Can I just say this? If this is how the season started for Mike Brown last season, he probably wouldn't have even made it to 30 games. He probably gets fired today. No, I'm not even kidding.
I'm
not kidding.
There were plenty of times they wanted to do it. Anyways, they scored 111 points through 3 quarters. The Kings had 117 the whole game. But 111 three quarters is the second most the Timberwolves have scored in their last 186 regular season games.
It's just everybody is in on the action too. There's no this kid. You're watching a Kings game where you have to Google someone, right?
Is it Jalen?
Jalen Clark. Who is this guy? So you're watching a Kings game when it's time to Google someone.
Jalen Clark because I knew that they were right for letting Nickeil Alexander-Walker leave, but I was like, I don't know, is it going to be Terrence Shannon? No, they just found another one. Jalen Clark, sit in the corner, bury threes. That's all day. It was just drive, kick, wide open 3, bury it. Drive, kick, wide open 3, bury it.
Yeah, and just guys I've never heard of. Everybody getting in the action. Naz Reid only had 13, right? He was 5 of 14 from the field. They were all positives. They're all plus. Besides, there was one guy on the T-Wolves, Kyle, that was not a positive and plus or minus. Kyle's taking a call. You know who that was? It was Rob Dillingham. It was Rob Dillingham, the only guy. So we'll get to the Kings side of things. We also have Chrissy's cuts. We'll hear from Doug Chrissy. Phone lines are on fire. You want to be a part of the conversation? Let's make you a part of the show. 916-339-1140. On the other side, we continue to discuss what in the world is happening with your Sacramento Kings. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Download the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento sports in your pocket. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Not sure what to get him this holiday? You can't go wrong with a gift from Untuck It. Every guy wants to unwrap our best-selling, wrinkle-free, and performance styles. From polished shirts for holiday parties to cozy layers for family photos, you'll find everything he needs to look sharp and feel comfortable all day and night. So, get a head start on your holiday gift list. Early holiday sale happening now. Find the perfect gift for everyone on your list at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide. Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn, untucked.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Carmichael Dave here for American Energy Heat and Air right now. Breaking news, they're upgrading their offering to include plumbing, bringing that same expertise and experience to the plumbing space. They're no longer just heat and air. They're now your American Energy Home Pros. You hear me talk about them as your second opinion partner. Now you can still get second opinions on any HVAC service or replacement, and now you can get a second opinion on any of your plumbing services. They'll come out to your house for free, and they'll give you a second opinion and almost certainly save you money. Oh, but wait, there's more. With winter coming up, how about a free furnace special? With full system installation, you're getting a free furnace, not a discounted furnace, a free furnace, and up to $4,000 in rebates while that funding lasts. So get there right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Around here, Maverick is more than a name. It's who we are. My dad climbed power poles for a living, and he taught me to keep homes running when it gets cold. This November, donate 5 canned foods to our holiday food drive and choose a furnace tune-up or an electrical safety check. We'll collect your cans at the appointment and keep your heat comfy and your lights steady. So the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com. Limited November appointments. Some restrictions may apply.
Guys, it's time to know your numbers and what they mean. And right now, Revive Men's Health is offering a $400 comprehensive wellness panel for just $99. Free if you start treatment. Offer ends November 30th. Book today at revivemenshealth.com. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. There's plenty of football to talk about, too, and we will get into it. Brian Daboll is out as head coach. You know, a lot of people aren't surprised. I was talking to Kyle a little bit when it happened. It happened during Crosstalk at the end of the morning show with Carmichael Dave, Jason Ross. I was kind of surprised. I thought that things were good in Giants world, but I think it was a same division, a little RG3-ish, how they didn't like, I guess, because there's a difference between called runs and scrambles, and apparently the powers that be didn't like the fact that maybe Daboll was calling too many runs, and if we remember now, Kyle, it looks a lot different as we discuss how there was that situation where Russell Wilson threw one pass when Jackson Dart missed some time. I think he missed a play. And as soon as Russ just threw one pass, Daboll popped his head into the tent. I think he we joked about it that day. And then later that day, I believe he did get fined for that.
I think it was a couple days later, but him and Scattaboo both got fined.
Yeah, it was kind of, hardcore, old school, what's my movie? Friday Night Lights, or Varsity Blues, rather, where it's, hey, are you good enough to get out there? And then he tried to defend it. Well, I was just checking to see if I'm going to need it for 4th down or whatever. Brother, you can't do that.
Which, by the way, Jackson Dart left with a concussion.
Yes.
So
I believe he's had to get checked for 4 since taking over. And I know he did run a decent bit at Ole Miss in those powder blues. I love those powder blue jerseys from Ole Miss. But clearly, I would assume that this is a conversation that they had with Daboll, and Daboll also probably responded saying, well, my job is something to the effect of my job is to win football games. And they said, well, it ain't anymore. Not here.
So here's the point I would make with Dayball, and Adam Schefter outlined perfectly why Dayball was going to get fired no matter what, which, by the way, they're going to do the same thing all these teams do, which is draft a young quarterback, fire the coach, hire the trendy offensive guru.
The young stud muffin.
Yeah, that when you should have aligned it at the beginning instead of draft the quarterback and now fire the coach. Like the Titans just did it with Cam Ward. The Bears have done it 3 times where they fired a coach, Nagy for Trubisky, Eberflus for Fields, Caleb Williams, all that stuff. But this is why Brian Daboll got fired, is from Adam Schefter. For the 3rd straight year, the Giants are 2-8.
Yeah.
You cannot go 2-8 3 years in a row and stay employed in the NFL. If they fired Brian Flores for going 9-7 but not making the playoffs in 3 years, you cannot have 3 straight years going 2-8 and keep any job in the NFL.
No, and to bring it back to the NBA, I still wonder how they look at Doug Christie and last season. I mean, he was the first interim coach. All these other coaches came in later in the season. So Doug had a pretty long runway. Now, they did blow up his team, but I do wonder what type of stain, for lack of a better term, last season put on Doug. Was it a true mulligan, or was it, hey, some of us are counting it? You know, you golf with your buddies. You know, I get a breakfast ball. Sometimes I get a brunch ball, depending on who I'm playing with. Hey, Allen, we're counting that stroke, right? Other friends of mine won't count the stroke. You always need a buddy, by the way, that just is the you're good. My guy, and I love him to death. My guy, he always has us, and I shoot the best I ever shot because, yeah, it's about, I don't know, 2-footer. Al, you're good. You're good. Good? That's what we just say to each other. Good, you're good, I'm good. So did Doug get a you're good, or did Doug get a, no, you need to finish out that putt? You got to finish out that putt, Doug. And the pressure's on. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Dwayne. Uh-oh. Dwayne is not going to be happy. I already know this. What's up, Dwayne? What you got for us?
Hey, fellas, this is awful. The subheading on YouTube says, is the Kings roster beyond repair? Of course it's beyond repair, bro. It's been beyond repair. The only thing that's going to fix this is a blockbuster trade, bro. I mean, multiple players to balance out the roster. These guys do not have the savvy. They must not listen to any of us. They don't listen to the pulse of the city. This team has no rotation. It's almost better when guys – I don't wish hurt on nobody, but it's almost better when guys are out because then other guys can get their minutes.
I love that you said that at the end, Dwayne. Thanks for the call. Obviously, the caveat, we don't want anybody injured. But this is how we felt last season. I remember specifically, I think we did the show at Tom's, and somebody was out. It was either Malik or I think it might have been DeRozan, or one of the three between Malik, DeRozan, and Levine. And they had just beat the Cavs when the Cavs had that rough stretch on the West Coast. And they were, quote-unquote, shorthanded. The Kings were. But even though they were shorthanded, it made more sense. Jake LaRavia got more time, right? It was more cohesive in what it was doing. So that's why it's so tough when you sit here and you hear Dennis Schroeder and everybody say, well, I think we have we just have way more talent than what we're showing. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. We've talked about it like a buffet before, a Vegas buffet. And I can't wait to get out there to Vegas again. Summer League, or it was supposed to be the NBA Cup. I don't think that's going to be the case now that they got their butts whooped by the Thunder. I guess that one's on me on that stupid gray court. But it's a good buffet, but you can't eat it all at one time, or you're going to get a stomach ache, especially at my age. They got pizza. They got steak. They got Chinese food. They got orange chicken, pot stickers, sushi, separate, all good food. And you can lay out who you think anybody is. Zach can be the ribeye. Love me some ribeye. Gonna have some this Friday. Me and the missus going out, taking a little break. A nice ribeye, Zach is. But then you got DeMar DeRozan. It's a nice pizza. Okay, that kinda makes sense. Then DeMontis Sabonis is a very nicely made sushi. That just does not make sense. Okay, well, maybe it's a surf and turf type deal. And then you throw in a shrimp fried rice with Dennis Schroeder. And now this thing is starting to go squirrely. And then you get the dessert from Russell Westbrook, which is just separate. Great. Together, You can't make it work. You can't.
I don't know. I see some people make sushi pizzas now. I don't know if you've seen this.
Well, back in the day, there's probably some places out here, but the Sushi Rito was the big thing. Sushi Rito was the biggest waste of money I've ever spent. It was a big truck back in the day, and I'm sorry if there's any out here in Sacramento, but they're $18 for a little cone of the paper, right? The sushi paper.
Okay.
And you stick some tuna, right? Some tuna, some rice. It's $18. You take 2 bites, it falls apart, and you spent $20, and you're not full either.
Okay, I know a couple like that. I guess I will say to Dwayne's defense, though, the roster construction, I think, will make more sense once they are fully healthy, right? If you plug Keegan back in, you can talk yourself into, hey, we have a backup 4 now in Precious Achiuwa. You've got your backup in Eubanks, who you feel fine with if he's playing 12 minutes a game. You can have Nick Clifford go offense-defense with DeMar DeRozan. You can have Zach LaVine and Malik Monk, and then you can have Schroeder and Westbrook. Now, the problem is you would be acknowledging at that point Devin Carter's never going to play, and Keon Ellis
you didn't say Keon's name?
Yeah, Keon's only going to play when someone's hurt.
Keon for Tari Eason. Do it now.
Might be too late for that.
Do it now. It's now or now. And I love Keon, but you might as well just do it now. Just do it. 916-339-1140. Let's get to David, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, David? What you got for us?
Okay, gentlemen, this is what I think our team needs to do.
Okay.
Simply, shorten the rotation. Shorten the rotation. No one gets a chance to eat when you got all those different types of food on the table, like how you just explained, right? So if you shorten the rotation, everybody will get to the guys that'll get to play or get in rhythm. We can prove that we've already proven that we can stay in games, and then the guys that aren't getting very much time will try harder, and when they come in, really play their part.
But if I still got you, David, who do are you shortening the rotation on?
Well, I'm gonna have to shorten the rotation on Keon. I'm gonna have to shorten the rotation on Precious and keep the best 5.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, David. Great stuff, man. I appreciate it. I'm looking here at the box score, and Precious, again, another 30 for 30 from your couch to the starting lineup. Welcome, my friend, to the Sacramento Kings. I mean, 29 minutes from his couch to the starting lineup. There was a play yesterday where Precious, I know it was football. I don't know if Precious forgot because NFL was on. Precious literally threw a block. He threw a block. I think Zach LaVine had the ball behind him. Fast break. The brother just threw a block like Zach LaVine was a running back. It was the easiest charge call ever, and I know he's still getting in the loop. Then he's taking threes. Whoa. We got Eubanks taking threes, Precious taking threes. What are we doing?
Well,
where is that?
I guess Precious was plus-minus wise one of the better players on the team. But to David's point, they already did this. They're only running a 9-man rotation now.
That's why I asked David, who are you cutting? Because honestly, if and I'm not saying to do this, but in David's world, there's another person that would have to get cut and minutes cut. And I'll tell you who it is to kick off the 11 o'clock hour as we discuss the Keon Ellis logjam. And we got sound from Doug Christie on not playing everyone's favorite backup point guard. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get Black Friday savings during the Happy Honda Days excitement going on now at Stockton Honda, Northern California's best Honda dealer. You'll score big with low payments, top trade-in value, and a huge selection of new Hondas. Don't wait. The clock is ticking at StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
Little help. A little help over here.
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers. The #1 wiper blades in America.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
1 hour down, 3 to go. To get through the rest of the box score, we're going to get into this Keon Ellis stuff. It goes deep, man. It goes very deep. But to get into this, finish up the box score, you have Precious Achiuwa, like I said, 29 minutes, 12 points. He was a -10, which according to Kyle, that was one of the better plus-minuses on the night. He was 5 of 7 from the field, 0 of 1 from three-point land. Domantas Sabonis, 30 minutes, 20 points, -19, 13 rebounds. DeMar DeRozan, 29 minutes, 22 points, a -19. Domantas Sabonis had 3 assists. DeMar had 2. Domantas Sabonis had 3 turnovers. DeMar had 2. Dennis Schroeder, 28 minutes, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 of 6 from three-point land. Goodness gracious, just an awful game. He only had 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He was a -15. Just a terrible game from Dennis Schroeder. That's 2 terrible games from Dennis Schroeder. Terrible. Terrible. Awful. Zach LaVine, 30 minutes, 26 points. He had 4 rebounds. He was 6 of 9 from three-point range. He was a -21, a team worst, -21. He also had 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover. Drew Eubanks, 13 minutes, 6 points, -6. Maxime Reynaud only played 5 minutes. Russell Westbrook only played 16 minutes. That ticked everybody off. 28% from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point range, -19. 2 turnovers. Malik Monk, 20 minutes. And shout out to Malik Monk. It's on social media now, so we can say it. Yes, this is what Malik had mentioned to me. I didn't know if I should say it on the air or not, but Malik and his partner welcomed a baby boy. So that's why Malik was out. So shout out to Malik Monk. But the dad strength did not show up, at least not yet, for Malik Monk. 20 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 7 from the field. And he was 0 of 3 from three-point land. He was a -10. Devin Carter, 6 minutes. Keon Ellis, 12 measly minutes that were essentially, it was just the fourth quarter, right? Fourth quarter. So he played once the game was over. Nick Clifford, 23 minutes, 10 points, 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range. He was a -12. Just atrocious. Literally atrocious. And the reality is nobody played well. So when nobody's playing well, people are going to have questions about the rotation, right? In life, when you discuss owning property, it is location, location, location. When you were talking about basketball, whether that is on the bench or in the game, it is rotation, rotation, rotation. And that's what everybody wants to talk about now, with Keon Ellis getting 12 measly minutes after the game was over. This is 2 games in a row where Keon, he's gone from, you got different 30 for 30s. You got from the couch to the starting lineup. What if I told you that you could be nearly out the league and then starting for the Sacramento Kings? Keon is, what if I told you that you could go from the doghouse to a logjam, 30 for 30, starring Keon Ellis. He did not play until the fourth quarter of the Thunder game, and the Thunder scored 70 points in the first half, okay? He did not play in the first 3 quarters against Minnesota. Minnesota scored 71 points in the first half. And Doug Christie has different, explanations on it, and they don't really make a ton of sense, to be honest with you, Kyle. Let's just play it now if you have it.
Yeah, I mean, trying to play 10 players and find a rhythm for that is difficult. There's a log jam at that position. One guy plays damn near the whole game, the other guy plays a few minutes, and then there's Keon. But I know in this league that things happen how they happen. And the one thing that we're going to do is try to figure it out. So we'll see. I mean, defense has to be played. There's moments where guys are playing good, and then all of a sudden we just forget what we're doing out there. And we have to have attention to detail, focus 24 seconds at a time. Seems like 24 seconds to lock in isn't that difficult, but it is. I get it. But whenever you're turning over the ball 18 times, you could stand for 18 turnovers and 11 points. You could survive. But 18 turnovers with 37 points, they're scoring every single time. That can't happen. Listen, Keon knows how I feel about him. I love the kid. Been a big fan of his for a long time. So he'll get his opportunity. It's just how the game happens. So love our fans, understand our fans. I totally get it. I'm here to win basketball games. But first and foremost, there's a way to play. And we have to find that way to play. We have to trust that way to play. And it starts defensively, period, in the conversation. It just is what it is.
Look, man. I was talking to someone before the show as to how to approach all this. And I think I got it. I think I'm good. I think I got it. Because time is a flat circle. And you start to wonder the way Doug was speaking, right? You get asked a question. I couldn't make it yesterday. Kiddos feeling under the weather. But you're in the building for the pregame, the postgame presser, and you get asked a question, right? If you're a player or a coach, and you got to make a decision as to how you're going to answer something and who you're speaking to. The way Doug responded to that, bringing up defense multiple times, that wasn't the Mike Brown, what was it? Not the over and over and over again, but whatever. Possession after possession after possession. It wasn't that. But the way Doug continued to bring up defense.
After possession.
Thank you.
After possession.
What a world that was just not too long ago.
After possession.
Yeah.
After possession.
We got to be coming up on that anniversary.
Yeah, we have to at some point.
Yeah.
Also, can we point out, the funniest thing, unironically, he ever did was bring the laptop to the postgame presser.
Sure.
That's one of the great things. Doug, you want to win the fan base over? Bring a laptop to the postgame presser.
So when Doug is talking, I do start to wonder, in my tinfoil hat brain, who's Doug talking to? Because he's not talking to whoever asked that brilliant question. He's not talking to the fans, right? And I'm paying attention because I've heard this now for about the second, third time. He's talking about it all starts with defense. He says, Keon knows how I feel about him. And he doesn't really have an answer right now. Like Mike Brown or not, and I don't even know if I should be saying this on air, there were basically situations where Mike Brown got caught up in the doghouse thing, and there were conversations with people that cover the team to say, hey, I don't want to out Keon, but there are some things that he could be doing better, and that is why. And literally, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that film was shown to media members. Film was shown to kind of illustrate, hey, this is where he's missing, or these are specific situations, right? And I think I can say that now because Mike is gone, enjoying his time in New York. It's probably snowing, or it's about to. So now with this Doug thing, again, it's very general, right? And it makes you wonder, who is Doug talking to? Because he's not talking to the media. He's not talking to Keon. Who is he talking to? Is he talking to the team? Which I'm sure the team has heard exactly what he said over and over again. Is he talking to the powers that be? Hey, I know we had conversations about playing certain guys based on the money that they make. You look at if you look at this from a money standpoint, specifically a money standpoint last night, right? All the guys, Malik at his nearly 20 mil, every player that is getting a healthier contract, they all played, and nobody played in that fourth quarter, but they all played typical minutes, right? Precious, they had no choice, or they felt like they had no choice. And I think people would argue that Precious maybe took some of Westbrook's minutes. But Sabonis, of course, DeMar, of course, Dennis Schroeder, of course, Zach LaVine, of course. Then you have Malik Monk, who's on a decent contract. Besides that, the only person to play 20 minutes is the guy that Scott Perry drafted, Nick Clifford. Nobody else got to 20 minutes. Russ, on a minimum deal. Keon Ellis, going to be a free agent at the end of the season based on a decision made by the Kings. Devin Carter can't even get to 10 minutes. Drew Eubanks, if it ain't a minimum deal, it's dang close. Reyno, it wasn't a good matchup apparently. But this is what we're seeing. So I do wonder, the way Doug said it and the way Doug laid it out, who exactly he's talking to. I don't know if he's talking to the reporter that asked the question. I don't know if he's talking to the team, right? Because then you hear from Zach LaVine, and Zach LaVine says, and we have this sound, we'll play in a different segment. Then you have Zach LaVine saying, yeah, I mean, they got a guy named Rudy Gobert. They don't ask Rudy Gobert to go get 30 because they know he's a defensive guy. We have to be better, but our personnel is our personnel. I don't know where this thing starts and ends as far as the effort versus just who they are. It's the same thing we talked about last week, right? We had that Hoops Herald or whatever their name was. They said, look how hard Zach LaVine works. And they were talking about Zach LaVine, and he was doing all these explosive workouts, right? And they went on to say, and they were trying to get clicks, and it worked. People think that it's just it's ability that you're born with. They don't think you work hard. Well, I think Zach LaVine had a little bit of both, right? If this team collectively, so then we had a conversation where we said, if you were born a 5'2" runner in the 40, right? You're a football player. You're born a 5'2" runner. All the training that's available, all of the dietary restrictions you can have, the best version of you, you were born a 5'2", 40 runner. What could you be? And Kyle and I kind of went back and forth and debated. I don't know. Maybe you could get to a 4'8" in the best version of you. If you were a 5'2", freshman, sophomore year, could you get to a 4'8", 4'7" by the time you're in college or the peak of your athleticism? Maybe, but you're not going to be a 4'2" runner. You're not going to be that dude that won the Island and then was terrible? Was his name John Ross?
I have no idea what you're talking
There
about.
was a guy who, if he broke a record, Adidas was going to give him an island or something like that.
What?
Yes, look it up. And then he was terrible in the NFL.
Oh, okay, so he didn't. Oh, yeah, John Ross, the wide receiver.
That's right.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the sprinter.
That's right. John Ross, he won an island, I think, and, didn't do very much after that.
Fastest 40 time in NFL history. The thing I will always remember about John Ross is that ran the fastest 40 time ever. Made the Bengals convince themselves to pick him with the 9th pick in the draft, even though he was terrible in the NFL and not that good in college. The 10th pick in that draft was Patrick Mahomes.
There you go.
They took John Ross 1 pick before Patrick Mahomes.
So there are levels to how much better you can get at something. So if we're looking at this Kings roster right now with no Keon, and they are a 5'2" runner in the 40, what's the best they can get? Right now, I think going into the game, I believe they said that they were 26th in the NBA in defense. So what's the best they can get to? 26 is pretty bad.
Currently, they are 27th.
27th is pretty bad.
I'm going to guarantee you the 3 teams below them are also tanking.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and
That's a good point. So what's the best they can get? If they're currently at a 27, right, what is their ceiling? Because the reality is, and this is the same thing that we talked about with the actual Beam team and with Mike Brown. Hey, well, if their offensive efficiency is top 10, then all they got to do is be 20 or 18 or 19 and they'll survive. And they could never do it. They could never do it. And I think they actually, towards the end of, or the beginning of last season, they actually kind of did it.
All right, you want to know the 3 teams that are worse than the Kings?
Sure.
Defensive rating. The Brooklyn Nets of Jordy Fernandez. Don't know. Did they win a game yet? I can't remember. The Washington Wizards and the New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay. So out of the teams that are trying, they're the worst, right? Out of the teams that are trying and not tanking, they are the worst. And for Keon Ellis to 2 games straight not get time, it makes no sense to me. And there was a "We Want Keon" chant. And my fear is that this is headed towards we have to move Keon because it is a distraction. That's my fear deep down.
By the way, 4-25, the combined record of the teams below them in defensive rating. You were out on your paternity leave, and it was me, Chris, and Kayla doing a show, and a conversation came up about Keon, and we were talking about whether Keon should get extended, trade, all the stuff like that. And Kayla asked a really profound question, which is like, so what should they actually do? And me and Chris kind of came to the same conclusion talking it through. It's that it's not about trading Keon Ellis or signing Keon Ellis. It's that Keon Ellis represents the inflection point of your team. Mm-hmm. Are we extending him because we're trying to win now while he's in his prime 26, 27, 28? Are we trying to trade him to get younger, potentially higher upside on a developmental project? Keon kind of represents that inflection point of what exactly is the direction of this franchise. And if we move on from him, does it mean we're prioritizing Nick Clifford and Devin Carter and their development? And so the fact that he's moved to the bench, I think, just leaves everyone like, well, what exactly are we doing here? Are we just saying goodbye to any direction, like symbolically by moving Keon to the bench?
Yeah.
If he's the microcosm for what direction are we going? Are we just saying, no, we're just going to put direction to the side. We don't need direction. We've got Russell Westbrook and Precious Achiuwa. Like that.
Yeah.
I think in a simple sense, it's allowed to be as simple as Nick Clifford is playing over him, which, by the way, is not the worst idea in the world. But when you then look at the macro, it's like, so what exactly are we doing here?
Well, I think that's why last night was bizarre, because Russell, we've said it before, and I got in trouble with Russell Westbrook fans, that Russell Westbrook was kind of the break glass in case of emergency, and he can be a crutch at times because he's going to plug some of the holes that your team has, but he might make a couple new ones along the way. It just depends on what it is. But for Russell Westbrook to only play 16 minutes, that was bizarre to me. It felt like, I'm just looking at it from a matchup standpoint, it felt like they didn't go with Russ because Julius Randle has owned them. So they felt like they needed more beef with Precious Achiuwa instead of Russ. And then it kind of snowballed. And, Julius had 19. I think he probably averages closer to 30 against the Kings. But they decided to go with Precious, and that kind of messed up everything else. And then you look up, and now neither Keon nor Westbrook have played, which is just bizarre. So now you're sacrificing. Again, it's a matchup-based thing, and they told us that's what it was going to be going into it. But now, so now you're sacrificing Keon to match up with Julius Randle, and you lost by 30. You lost by 30 anyway. I mean, what is the point of what you're doing? And I think that is the larger question in this. You are trying to survive, and you are sacrificing player development, but you're not surviving. Let us not forget, this can be salvaged, right? You can sign Keon in February, and everything can be honky-dory if you make that decision. But if they've made the decision to move forward, and they've made the decision, no, we're going to prioritize keeping our head above water and trying to win games, that sounds bizarre to people. Why? Because you're drowning. Because you're not keeping your head above water. Because you're not doing what you think the sacrifice is, right? All these other you talked, Kyle, about, and I know something similar is happening because I just saw a piece written about the Nets. The Nets got vets that are a little bit older than they want. And the Nets are saying, hey, Nets fans are saying we need to play our young guys. So and that's even more bizarre because I thought we all knew what the Nets were trying to do. I mean, the Kings, they keep trying to tell us, no, this is going to work. And that's why I used the same example in the first hour where it's we all know or we were all told that it was not going to work, right? They are now, the Kings are, you're at the 10-game mark. You're 10 games in, you're 3-7. This stuff can slip quickly. And everybody can say, well, the Eastern Conference, it doesn't matter yet. You look up, okay? I know it sounds funny, but 10 games in, you're 6.5 games back. Now, nobody expects you to catch the Thunder. That was never the case. But even that 6th seed, you haven't even gotten out of bed. And you're, what? 3 games. You're 3 games behind the 6th seed. And you just woke up, right? You ever wake up in a rush? Maybe you accidentally hit snooze or whatever it is, and now you're rushing to get wherever you need to go, or whatever the case is. That's what's happening. That's what happens in the NBA. That's what's happened to the Kings the last couple seasons. Oh, it's early. And I've taken the calls, texts, Sack Chat, Allen. Stop overreacting. It's early. It's early till it's not. And you're already 3 games back of the 6th seed. So we're already looking here, wondering, okay, are you going to be able to rattle off? They lost 2 straight. I know the Clippers, they're also 3-6. There's some teams that we think are going to figure it out. There's some teams that we don't. The Suns are 5-5. What happens if the Suns are a little bit better than we think? I know Jalen Green can't stay on the court. He messed up his hammy again. But we don't know what is going to happen. The Blazers, the Spurs, both balling. Spurs are the 2 seed. So if you're going to sacrifice something, right, and you're sacrificing it and still losing, that's going to tick fans off. And that's going to continue to have the arena looking like it did last night with a lot of gray seats. That's what I saw last night on the broadcast. A lot of gray seats. Honestly, the outside matched the court on Friday. Gray seats, gray court. Nobody was there. So, the reality is there are a lot of different ways to go about this. But what Doug is saying is only going to annoy people because people are already annoyed about what's going on. But when you say stuff, I think that's what confuses people. When you say stuff as if it's out of your control, when it is in your control, that is going to frustrate people. Just be direct in what you're saying. Hey, what Doug could have said last night is when he was asked this question, and I almost want to play it again, Kyle. What Doug could have said last night is, you know what? We had to go beefier with Precious Achiuwa, so that clogged up the Russ minutes, right? And honestly, there's no excuse because that's not what happened. They started Russ against the Thunder. But, hey, the Thunder, that situation was what it was. against the Timberwolves, Precious Achiuwa kind of took Russ's minutes, so Russ didn't play as much, and Russ had been playing more than Keon, so now Keon, there's nowhere for him to go. Because the other name that I was going to bring up, that this is not too far when we had, who was it? Was it David on the call line, or I think it was our guy Dwayne saying to shorten the rotation. It was David. Malik Monk is next. Malik Monk is next to get squeezed.
Just wait for him to have a bad game.
Oh my goodness, because he's at 20. He was at 20 minutes. I know nobody played in the fourth, but you start, if you are prioritizing quote unquote defense, even though Keon can't play, Malik is going to get squeezed too. Malik has been playing because he's been shooting the three ball at 60%. That cools off. I don't know where Malik is going to get time. So this is only the beginning, and everybody is focused on Keon, and I get it. But you just look around and say, where are these minutes going to come from? And it can be official, it can be unofficial. The commitment level, put it to you like this, and I know there's NIL now, right? If somebody is having a really good season, let's pretend NIL, or we could use NIL too. But back in the day, I saw J.J. Watt was going back and forth with Wisconsin fans because he said something they didn't like. J.J. Watt was a walk-on, right? Walk-on, one of the hardest things to do in sports because there's no commitment to you. Back in my day, there was no NIL. It was just full rides, partial rides, whatever it was. So if a walk-on made a team, you knew that dude had to ball out because that coach had no commitment to that dude, right? And if that walk-on at the same time doesn't continue to ball out, they're getting replaced by somebody that the school is paying. Now, back in the day, it could be tuition, or now it could be NIL. So Keon is essentially a walk-on. So again, and even though Russ is, if you look at the totem pole, Russ is on a minimum contract, but I'm pretty sure they're selling more Russell Westbrook jerseys right now than Keon Ellis. So there is a reason to keep Russ in the front space of it all, okay?
Also, I don't know if Keon could put up 16, 6, and 6.
No, he can't. Right? And that's why I've said move him. I was the first one to say it. I got killed in the summer. Move him to a team where he can just do 3-and-D stuff. You got Russ, and then you got all the people that are making big money. So somebody is going to get squeezed. And they told us. They tried to say, oh, we can still come to a decision. Maybe they can. But maybe it's cooked by then. Maybe Keon says, you know what? My agent says there's stuff out there for me. But this is not over. But at the very least, you got to stop just in general when they continue to contradict themselves. That is what is annoying people, right? Defense, but the defensive guy doesn't play. That's going to annoy anyone. And I've been in those spaces because I know somebody's getting ready. Well, then the media should go harder. Let me just say this. It is not that simple. Things can get awkward in there real quick. I'm going to just be honest with you. And there are people, we're getting there. If this continues, trust me, because I've been having some conversations and calls will start coming in for Keon Ellis if they haven't already. And the Kings are going to have to make a decision. Contending teams are paying attention to what's happening in Sacramento in regards to Keon Ellis. And they know what the Kings need. And they know there's no space for Keon, which messes up the leverage conversation as well. Let's keep the conversation going. We have Javi we want to get to on the other side, and we also have more on the log jam. Like I said, I kind of want to replay this Doug Christie thing so we continue to break it down together because as the saying goes, you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain, and the turn on Doug is real. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for American Energy Heat and Air. Right now, breaking news, they're upgrading their offering to include plumbing, bringing that same expertise and experience to the plumbing space. They're no longer just heat and air. They're now your American Energy home pros. You hear me talk about them as your second opinion partner. Now you can still get second opinions on any HVAC service or replacement, and now you can get a second opinion on any of your plumbing services. They'll come out to your house for free, and they'll give you a second opinion and almost certainly save you money. Oh, but wait, there's more. With winter coming up, how about a free furnace special? With full system installation, you're getting a free furnace, not a discounted furnace, a free furnace, and up to $4,000 in rebates while that funding lasts. So get there right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Around here, Maverick is more than a name. It's who we are. My dad climbed power poles for a living, and he taught me to keep homes running when it gets cold. This November, donate 5 canned foods to our holiday food drive and choose a furnace tune-up or an electrical safety check. We'll collect your cans at the appointment and keep your heat comfy and your lights steady. So the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com. Limited November appointments. Some restrictions may apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is offering a comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value for just $99. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends November 30th. Call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at ChooseChangeCA.org.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
Halfway through the second hour, we've got some texts, a lot of texts that continue to come through. We want to get to them for you. And we got some calls we want to get to as well. There is also, because of a couple different things logistically, Kyle will not be on the show for the rest of the week. So Kyle, you're going to the morning show?
Yes, that is correct. I am being rerouted to the morning show because we have multiple people taking vacation this week.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't had a vacation in months.
I had paternity. I didn't even want to go. I love my kid. I said, hey, I got to be here.
Mr. 3 weeks off over here. I haven't taken 3 weeks off the entire time I've worked here. I'll tell you what.
Well, you have a couple kiddos and you will.
Yeah, that's probably fair. But yeah, so anyways, I'm with Dave and Jason the rest of the week after this.
Okay, so now that we know that, we're going to have to make sure we get all of Kyle's thoughts on today's show about what's going on with the Sacramento Kings. And we want your thoughts, 916-339-1140. I mean, the reality is this here. And again, I'm not trying to suggest anything per se, but I will say this. All coaches on all levels, the power, for lack of a better term, that they have, it's all relative, right? Tom Izzo has a level of power at Michigan State that a first-year coach, I would even say a John Shire at Duke, probably doesn't have yet, right? Two powerhouses, but Tom Izzo's been there forever. Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra versus Jordy Fernandez and Doug Christie. So the level of, and what is it that Scott Perry always says, a collection of thought, or where they're all going to make
diversity
decisions.
of thought.
Diversity of thought, and then something about thinking together.
Unity of purpose.
Unity of purpose.
That's right. Unity of purpose, diversity of thought.
So they're telling us that, hey, a lot of these decisions, when you take a first-time head coach, even though Doug got about 50 games or whatever, when you take a first-time head coach, you have to make up for it, or you may feel like you have to make up for it in other ways, right? If Mike Brown was still your head coach, and we don't even know how that would go, but Mike Brown maybe gets a little bit more autonomy than another coach, because Mike Brown has been around and coaching forever. When you bring in somebody like a Mike Woodson, who's coached forever, and he's saying whatever he's saying to Doug, that stuff is going to hold a different level of weight. It's the same thing with J.J. Redick, right, down there in L.A. They're different levels. Every head coach, they're all head coaches. But the level of autonomy, and like I said, for lack of a better word, power that they all have with the front office or with the lineup, things like that, it all changes. Tony Vitello on the Giants, I don't know how much autonomy he'll have in year one because he's never done anything like this before. They want to give him, now it's a balance. They want to give him control. He is the manager, but also, hey, just so you know, this is typically how things go differently. Me personally, coming in here, like I said, my first time doing this full time, having my own show, when Whitey talks to me, I listen. When Carmichael Dave talks to me, sometimes
you pretend to listen.
Sometimes I listen because they've been doing it for a very long time. Now, when I go in and when I talk to Boss Man, it might be different than when Whitey or Carmichael Dave or Jason Ross talks to Boss Man.
Well, Carmichael Dave for sure.
Because they've been doing it for a longer period of time. And I understand that. So is that what's going on with Doug? I don't know. All I know is that this happens throughout the league. It is a well-known thing. And now Doug is dang near public enemy number one. You know, it's tough to make these decisions and to say, I want to get into it. I don't want my legacy to just be as a player. And now as fans, you have to separate Doug as a player and Doug as a coach. And last night didn't feel like there was a ton of separation. I saw a tweet last night, a post last night that says, it's worth asking, has Doug lost the locker room? And you know what the response was? One of the responses was, bleep the locker room. Doug's lost the city. We're in game 10.
That's crazy.
We are 10 games into the season. Last season, he was taking people up to see the beam. 10 games in. Bleep the locker room. Doug has lost the city. Now, this is social media. And you know, that's obviously not reality. But this thing can escalate quickly. We are only 10 games in. 916-339-1140. Let's get to our guy, Javi. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Javi? What you got for us?
How you doing today, Mr. Stiles?
I'm good, Javi.
I'm a person that doesn't feel, I like to think when it comes to, a sports team that has, many different personalities and people. But I'll tell you this, if you think about this logically, it's just a shame. You look at the worst owner in professional sports has turned the Bean team into where we were at in April 2023 to now, 31 months later, we're talking about why Keon Ellis is not playing, and not based on lack of personnel or lack of productivity, but we're talking about due to he's our best defender left on the roster, and he's not getting minutes because we can see this simply. This is a money play. We have paid guys that we say veterans need to play because of their dollar amount. Whether it's right, wrong, or different, it's clear. But a guy like Christie, who I love as a Kings fan since I've been, on this earth the last 31 years, and now is you, like you said, you die as a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. Christie, you're literally speaking out of both sides of your mouth, saying we're going to play the defenders who earn their way on the court by what they do. Well, Keon Ellis, and outside of him, Keegan Murray, who's hurt right now, and even Devin Carter to an extent.
Thanks for the call, Javi. Great stuff. And yeah, the Devin Carter note is interesting as well. There's just no room. There's just no room. Kyle, let's run it back what Doug had to say, because I know people are in and out on this beautiful Monday. And yeah, it was something that did upset a lot of people. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, like trying to play 10 players and find a rhythm for that is difficult. Like there's a log jam at that position. One guy plays damn near the whole game, the other guy plays a few minutes, and then there's Keon. But I know in this league that things happen how they happen. And the one thing that we're going to do is try to figure it out. So we'll see. I mean, defense has to be played. There's moments where guys are playing good, and then all of a sudden we just forget what we're doing out there. And we have to have attention to detail, focus 24 seconds at a time. Seems like 24 seconds to lock in isn't that difficult, but it is. I get it. But whenever you're turning over the ball 18 times, like you could stand for 18 turnovers and 11 points. You could survive. But 18 turnovers with 37 points, they're scoring every single time. That can't happen. Listen, Keon knows how I feel about him. I love the kid. Been a big fan of his for a long time. So he'll get his opportunity. It's just how the game happens.
There it is from Doug Christie. And again, not to go tinfoil hat, Keon knows how I feel about him.
It's kind of his go-to phrase, isn't it? Just Keon knows how I feel about him.
Maybe there's a reason for that, though.
Keegan knows how I feel about him, too, is another one.
Well, I think that was Perry when they were trying to get the deal done.
Oh, you might be right.
Keon knows how I feel about him. I don't know about anything else, but when it comes to, again, reading tea leaves, if I could, then I would. I'm not saying that's the case. But Keon knows how I feel about him. Well, how do you feel about him? What if that was the question last night? Well, how do you feel about him, right? Feel like he's a good enough player, feel like he gives us defense, but we got to see, and it almost feels like it's a matter of we got to see if these guys are actually going to figure it out. And I know if anybody knows that Keon is not a fix-all, it's me. I've been the one getting destroyed since the summer when I said he could be included for Kuminga. I've been there. But when you're saying one thing but doing another, or saying something is important but it doesn't feel like it's important, that's going to upset some people. When we return, Dennis Schroeder, we have an exclusive from KCRA from Sean Cunningham. So Dennis Schroeder and Sean Cunningham had a conversation in the locker room, and it was pretty interesting. Dennis Schroeder has struggled a bit, so it was fascinating to hear what he had to say. Don't move. More Allen Stiles Show coming up.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage? Weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans? Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke? Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-838-6767. That's 800-838-6767.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip, if a firm presents it's local but they're in L.A., red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the biggest selection, the best prices, and unbeatable customer service. Check them out online, sacsuperstore.com, for the guaranteed lowest price on Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Open until 10 o'clock and right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. sacsuperstore.com.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
One of the, I don't know if the word is most or more polarizing subjects when it comes to Kings basketball. It's almost a trigger word, Keon Ellis. So I want to throw this out here. Who thinks that the Keon Ellis thing is overblown? Because obviously I've been on the side of, I think, the middle, where I think Keon should be playing more, but I think Keon is just better suited on a better team. Keon is not going to be a second option, and he's not really a point guard. He doesn't distribute the basketball very well. Contrary to Basketball Reference, he's not 6'6". So I think I fall somewhere in the middle where Keon is a good player and will be a good player, but I don't know that he is the savior. But you don't have to think someone's a savior to think, well, Doug, you keep talking about defense and Keon is a dog defensively. And I would say to Javi's point too, even Devin Carter, I mean, let us not forget those, and I know LaRavia is a little bit bigger than Neek, but let us not forget those dog lineups that they had last season where it was LaRavia, Devin, and Keon. And they would just be on you. They would just hound you. So obviously in those situations, you don't have.
They know what you ate for breakfast.
I don't know. I guess Neek is the point guard in those situations, or you just figure it out with Neek, or if DeMar DeRozan is in. So offensively, you're giving something up. But they ran those lineups last season with LaRavia, so I don't think LaRavia is a better playmaker than Neek. So we haven't seen that at all this season. And those lineups, they balled out.
So here's where I'm stuck with that, because you are correct that Keon, Neek, Keegan Murray, those are great 3-and-D wings that play great defense and can guard, between the three of them, you can get 1 through 4 essentially on defense. But that being your core at the wing position, throw Malik Monk in there if you want to. Monk, Ellis, Neek Clifford, not Jake LaRavia, Devin Carter. That's a nucleus that works if you have De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, if you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, if you have a point guard who can score at all 3 levels and ball handle, and a big who's providing you strong defense and scoring and maybe a little bit of ball handling. Sabonis fits the bill for it too, but it works if you have those 2 foundational pieces. And this all comes back to, if you're not going to be able to get one of those players or even one of those second or third tier point guards or ball handlers, the whole experiment doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but I'm saying even last season we saw it, and they had good spurts. We talked about it on the air. Yeah. We haven't even seen it. And I guess we haven't seen it because, spoiler alert, they added 2 more guards in Russell Westbrook and obviously Dennis Schroeder. So there's no room for it.
And this was the thing that Dave was talking about all summer. Is like and I didn't agree with him, but he was making the point like, I would rather see the lineup of the Dogs than see Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan play for the Kings. I mean, that team would be probably just as bad on defense, but they wouldn't be scoring as much. So then you're firmly in the tanking or rebuilding category, and they're just, again, their hand might get forced, but they're not ready to admit that yet, that they're in that spot.
Yeah, and I've always said there should be the ability to live somewhere in the middle, right? Where obviously, Zach LaVine is not immovable, but he ain't balling the way he was balling to kick off the season. You probably were going to have to hold on to Zach LaVine, where it's just this is what we talked about last week. It's just DeMar DeRozan. It's DeMar DeRozan, and I guess you could throw Schroeder in there. If they did not have DeMar DeRozan and Schroeder, they would probably be just as bad. I don't know how they can be worse, or 3-7. And at the same time, you would be adding to the development.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the weird part, because even if you move DeRozan at this point, like just remove him from the equation at this point, I feel like you're so far down the rabbit hole now of this is the direction we're going that it's going to take more than just pulling one piece away or making one trade, right? The Keon for Tari Eason thing. Then what? We're going to move Keegan to the 3?
Yeah.
And DeRozan to the bench? Like,
sure.
Because that's why it's so confusing. Just adding a player, this is the thing with Precious Achiuwa or Russell Westbrook. Just adding a player into the rotation is a Band-Aid. It doesn't solve the fact that now Devin Carter simply cannot find the floor. Maxime Reynaud, ready or not, cannot find the floor. Keon Ellis now cannot find the floor. And when you bring back Keegan Murray, you're either going to have to expand your rotation or those players just aren't going to see the floor. Now, I guess the positive on the other side is that Neek Clifford is finding his way onto the floor through this rotation. But if you get Keegan back and they want to play him at the wing, then all of a sudden Neek Clifford's minutes are going to get clipped.
Let's hear from Dennis Schroeder. He sat down with Sean Cunningham from KCRA and was very transparent with Sean on where the team currently is. Here it is.
Now, where'd you see this one kind of go wrong for you guys?
Defensively. I think defensively we just got to do a better job of being on the same page, getting some stops, playing with energy. Starts with me, of course. I think defensively we got to, really focus on that and be better there.
And coaches kind of called out, competitive spirit over these last 2 games. How disappointing is that, especially when you come off of a game where you guys addressed it at practice last day?
Yeah, really disappointing. At the end of the day, we just got to find a way as a team to come together and especially defensively, making sure that we together as a unit and not separated. I think that's the most important And yeah.
In your experience, I mean, as someone who's known for defense and teams you've been on good teams defensively, bad teams defensively, but like when you're looking for team defense, like what has to happen if you have a team full of guys that maybe not be known for defense? What has to happen in order for you guys to succeed at defensively?
Yeah, I think everybody covering for another. I think you want to protect the paint, of course, and let them shoot contested, jumpers. And I think our paint is too easy to get in there and then spread out for threes or lobs. And I think we just got to do a better job keeping the guy in front. And if he gets beat, that we got the second help coming. And then we in rotation and in scramble mode. And I think that's what's missing right now. As a team, and like I said, it starts with me setting the tone and making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, finally, just for yourself, it seems like what you bring to the table, you don't seem like one of those players that if the shot's not dropping, that it prevents you from impacting other areas of the game. But right when the shot, how has it been just kind of fitting in right now and how you playing?
I don't feel comfortable. And it's always when I don't feel comfortable, it's not effective, And I got to find my, watch film, get better in areas where I can, be more effective. And for me, I mean, if the shot's dropping or not dropping, I mean, you can control if the ball goes in, but what you can't control is on the defensive side of the ball that you impacting it. And I always was a player. If my shot goes in, it's great. It's on top of it, but defensively and bringing my team together and making sure everybody, feeling good is what I bring to the table. And I always been like that, the 13 years of my career in the NBA. But I'm not really worried about makes and misses. I mean, stats is all good. I'm not a player like that. I always try to make my team better. It don't matter what it is, and I got to be better for this team, defensively, offensively, touching the paint, everything what comes with it. And I always look at myself first before I do anything else. So I got to be better.
Well, just so I'm clear, when you say you don't feel comfortable, what specifically do you mean? I
mean, offensively, it's just it's a lot. I got a lot of weapons on the court. Just making sure that we got the right plays. I can, be aggressive myself. But then we got Domas as well. Who likes to be in like handoff action as well. So just making sure everybody's in the right spots. It's always easy to say, but it's really tough when you have Debo on that right side, Zach on this side, then you got Domas in the middle. So I'm still learning. But like I said, we got so much in this room to be successful, but it's not on the offensive end. Yeah. It's on the defensive end.
That end, he said, I don't know if it's too many cooks in the kitchen, but Domas needs the ball. Got Debo on the left, Levine on the right. I'm supposed to score a little bit.
They all do different things, so I've got to set them up differently.
So what is this thing supposed to look like? What was the goal when this was put together? Let's get into it in the 12 o'clock hour. Also, we hear from Zach LaVine on the level of frustration and the defensive personnel issues, the famous quote about Rudy Gobert, who somehow caught a stray. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Download the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento sports in your pocket. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home with a 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Not sure what to get him this holiday? You can't go wrong with a gift from Untuck It. Every guy wants to unwrap our best-selling, wrinkle-free, and performance styles. From polished shirts for holiday parties to cozy layers for family photos, you'll find everything he needs to look sharp and feel comfortable all day and night. So, get a head start on your holiday gift list. Early holiday sale happening now. Find the perfect gift for everyone on your list at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide. Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Around here, Maverick is more than a name. It's who we are. My dad climbed power poles for a living, and he taught me to keep homes running when it gets cold. This November, donate 5 canned foods to our holiday food drive and choose a furnace tune-up or an electrical safety check. We'll collect your cans at the appointment and keep your heat comfy and your lights steady. So the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com. Limited November appointments. Some restrictions may apply.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
2 hours down, 2 to go. I was listening to the morning show a little bit while I was getting ready to come in, and Carmichael Day was talking about how he's bad at hitting his brakes. And they kind of just discussed what if there was money on the line, and the comparison was if Doug were to bench a big money player, which is obviously not the same because they get paid either way, but how that would work if they're really trying to push something forward. Could you use that? Is it too late? And that's what's so weird to me about this situation. What are you doing playing these games with DeMar DeRozan? Come on, you're going to bench DeMar DeRozan? That's what it turns into as we get into this sound from Zach LaVine. Are you going to bench somebody that you know has never really played defense for not playing defense? This is what I said last week. Doug has been given a bunch of old dogs that he's trying to teach new tricks. So now you're going to bench DeMar DeRozan for doing something that he's never had to do throughout his career. And the reason he hasn't had to do it is because he has been on teams that have made up for it, right? You're going to bench him for not playing defense when he's never played defense.
For something that, by the way, is not going to fix your problem.
No.
But DeMar DeRozan is a symptom of a larger problem on defense.
You put this together. Who are you going to bench? And this, honestly, it kind of sounds like the way it didn't work in the Bay for Dennis Schroeder, right? They brought in Dennis Schroeder after DeAnthony Melton got injured, and DeAnthony Melton had been on a tear scoring-wise. Dennis Schroeder is not that. Now, he's not normally this bad, but Dennis Schroeder is not that. So you get these guys together, and now you're going to bench them. Oh, we need you to do this. We need you to do this thing that you're not very good at, right? You're going to bench a leadoff hitter for not hitting enough home runs. No, you're going to bench a leadoff hitter for not getting a bunt down.
What was the stat we had from B-Ball Index that DeRozan was hitting on defense more than anyone last year? And it was like LeBron and Kyle Lowry and a bunch of old dudes.
Yes, this is not the team.
Yeah, DeRozan's older. He's not as good. He was never great defensively, but he is one of the great scorers in NBA history. That's what he's bringing you.
By the way, we have tickets to see. Hold on now. We got to be very clear about this. We have tickets to see Matt Rife, okay? Comedian Matt Rife. That's coming up in an hour. We're giving away tickets all week. It's not until October 11th, 2026. I just want to be very clear with you because October just passed. It is not a typo. It is October 11th, 2026. So you have plenty of time. You could have a whole kid by then, but you win these tickets.
When you phrase it like that, yeah.
You win these tickets and then we'll see what happens in 2026.
But the thing is, from what I understand from the file that I got this morning, you can't even buy these tickets yet.
Okay, see? So they're exclusive.
Yes, you have one of the first pairs right now. They don't go on sale until Friday.
Now I'm actually reading this. Win one of the first pairs of tickets. That's coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll be doing it all week. And if you want a chance and you're listening on the new improved app, by the way, the app has a bunch of new bells and whistles. If you haven't checked it out, you need to go do that, the Sactown Sports app. You still would need to hop on over to the YouTube or 1140 on your radio.
Secretly, YouTube's a little bit faster.
Okay.
So if you want the fastest, YouTube's a little bit faster than the radio.
So that's at 1 o'clock. We will give you that lucky caller. It feels like we haven't done a lucky caller in a while. It's been a bunch of different texts.
I also just realized that the show's in 11 months. 11 months ago, Mike Brown was still the coach of the Kings.
A lot can
happen.
A lot can happen in 11 months. But Matt Rife will be here. We do know that. Speaking of a lot can happen, man, oh man, doesn't that Warrior game feel about 3 months ago now?
You mean when they beat Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody's best punch?
I mean, when was that? Wednesday?
That was 2 shows ago, Allen.
That was Wednesday. And now Doug is getting run out the building. There's a free Keon chant. Can we just have a conversation? And by the way, 916-339-1140, anybody listening right now that was at the game, can you give us a play-by-play on the free Keon chant?
I think it was "We Want Keon."
We want Keon. Like this with Vivek and the crew in the building is nuts. We are 10 games in. We want Keon.
See, I didn't want to say this earlier. This is to the first point before we get to the Keon. And I've been polite today, which, I'm not going to see you on the show the rest of the week, so maybe I should be a little bit more reckless. But remember how you spent like an hour last week talking about, hey, I think they got a good shot at 3-2. 3-2 on this 5-game stretch, man.
Yes, I did.
They're 1-3 with multiple 27-plus point defeats. But no, 3-2. I think we can get to 3-2 on this stretch. I'll tell you what.
Look, man.
OKC, Minnesota, easy win.
But Kyle, hear me out. Look, the OKC thing is whatever. That Timberwolves game was embarrassing. That's what I'm saying. Like the Thunder game, cool, whatever.
No Sabonis, yeah.
That Timberwolves game, completely a nightmare. A nightmare on every single level.
I just think you are disrespecting Minnesota. And yes, I get Minnesota played very, very well, above where they've been most of the season, especially on offense. But like Minnesota is like right there with OKC.
Yeah, but I always disrespect Minnesota.
I know, but the Minnesota and OKC are on the same playing field right now. I mean, OKC's better than them, but it's not like OKC to Sacramento.
No, I mean, Kyle, they're coming in, and I know, and we just don't know what Minnesota's going to be. Ant's been injured, right? They're now 6-4. The OKC, the first game, they were undefeated. They've only lost one game.
Yeah, and people are saying Jaden McDaniels is going to be most improved player.
Yeah. So, look, man, I wanted to believe, because here's my conundrum, okay? I have been kind of talked about as the realist / pessimist at times, okay? So I will try to be optimistic. And then when I'm optimistic, the Kings lose by 30.
Twice.
Which they lose by 60 points over the weekend in total. And I can't come on these airways because, people don't want to hear. Everyone knows that the team isn't good right now, but you want to believe. My small belief that I had, and I'm the one who, against the Warriors, I'm the one who said, are we all watching the same thing? Because it was a celebration. It was a celebration. Westbrook had his triple-double. That was 2 shows ago.
But I think this underlines kind of a truth about this Sacramento Kings team, which is they're going to win these games. Like, they're playing a gauntlet of a schedule right now. I saw them put the graphic all over the broadcast. They have the hardest strength of schedule so far this year. Their opponents have the largest win percentage. All of that is true. And what it underlines is that they're close enough in these games, not this weekend, but the earlier ones, they're close enough in these games that they're going to win against teams that are not as good as the teams they're playing right now. But the fact that they're getting smoked by the great teams tells you they will not have any chance going forward. But they're also playing good enough and have enough talent to where Keon Ellis can get benched, and you still look at them and say, yeah, they totally still have a chance to win against the Hawks, or they totally could beat Toronto or one of these teams like that.
Yeah, I actually am, and they still got the Nuggets next, but yeah, after that, Kyle, they do host the Hawks, and now they have a back-to-back. This will be their first back-to-back. It is at home, but they will have the Nuggets on tomorrow night, and then they will have the Hawks on Wednesday. So we'll see what happens there.
Which, by the way, that dumb 8 o'clock start time on Tuesday.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness. That's the Peacock game tomorrow?
Yeah. No, it's national NBC, baby. It's NBC at 11 p.m. on the East Coast, so at least none of them will watch it.
Yeah.
But no, we are on network television, baby.
Hey, y'all, Westbrook might be ready to go. Y'all going to see these ISOs one way or the other. Y'all going to watch these pump fakes.
And by watch them, you mean go to sleep before it happens.
Y'all don't have a choice.
I'm like, Allen, I got to do the morning shows this week. I might be going to bed before that game starts.
And here's the thing. I know that national media is salivating to watch the Kings get their butts whooped on a national stage. I know they are. And I hope it doesn't happen.
I don't think they care.
No, it's fun. It's fun to them. This is fun to them. I don't know why it's fun to them, but it's fun to them.
The one that did finally break me, just speaking of the national media, is, what is his name? Michael Redd, who's the one who's like been going viral for being super like hyped on the new generation of the NBA and being like one of these old heads who like says, I think the modern NBA is better. Michael Redd had the one that kind of broke me, which is I love basketball, but man, the Kings are a tough watch right now.
Yeah.
Like even the most optimistic, I love the NBA guy is like, man, this Kings team's hard to watch.
Let's hear from Zach LaVine. We have a couple sounds from Zach LaVine. First, he gets asked about the level of frustration. That's what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak for myself. It's frustrating because we got a lot of talented guys in the team and guys that care and are competitive. But it's something that we got to work through. You don't want it to be happening right now at Game 8. You don't want it to happen later on in the season. But at least we have time to try to look at some film and fix it. But yeah, at least me, I'm a little frustrated. It just doesn't feel good to get your ass whooped by 25, 30 last couple games.
Man, I'm sure it doesn't. Kyle, let's hear from Zach LaVine. This is what went a bit viral and had Rudy Gobert doing the meme where he's pointing, saying, what do I got to do with this? Zach LaVine on the defensive personnel issues. Here it is.
I think everybody's understanding that that's the focus. I think that's what they came into the season with, obviously. Obviously, there's a personnel thing with that goes with that as well. Guys can go out there and play as tough as they can on defense. I said, I speak for myself. I think we've all been trying. I've been trying my ass off on defense, but you need a team collective, the right identity. Sometimes you need the right personnel out there. You're not going to ask Rudy Gobert to go out there and average 30. So he's a defensive guy though, and that's his job. But I think with the guys that we have on the team, we got to play to the right strengths of the team. And I think defensively, we got to be there for each other, help each other. But then on the other end, we got to take advantage of that. So, that's what I think, and that's what I see. I think guys are giving the right effort. It's just frustrating when we're not getting the right results.
You're not going to ask that brick Rudy Gobert to average 30. But he's a defensive guy, though.
Here's the thing, though. If he had played the fourth quarter, he might have gone for 30.
He probably would have. So that went a bit viral, as Zach LaVine, as the kids say. Rudy Gobert caught a stray. But we understand what he was trying to say. So here's the thing, right? And we did not read Scott Perry's Monday motivation. And I'll give him this. He's kind of stuck, and he has to do it because it's to the point now where if he didn't do it, I think people would say Scott Perry did not put out his Monday motivation. But you got Doug Christie saying there's a logjam, which means that there is an imbalance in the roster. You got Zach LaVine talking about personnel issues. I believe Domantas Sabonis brought up personnel questions as well. There's only one person, and I get it. He's new to coming into the team, so I'm not saying it's Scott Perry's fault that we are here. But what I am saying is there's one person that would be able to fix it, and that is Scott Perry. Looking back on the summer now, it is a bit eye-opening that the Kings just did not decide, and I get it. Look, basically this is what happened. We talked to Keegan's dad here on the show. It was a great interview. Go check that out, the Sactown Sports app on YouTube, Kenyon Murray. And he said Keegan is a 3. Now, they have him playing a 4 right now, but Keegan is a 3. I would imagine that there is some level of negotiation, and when that negotiation was happening, not saying that Keegan was overpaid, but there are some people out there that think Keegan was maybe slightly overpaid. Hey, Keegan, we know you're not playing the position that you want to play, so we're going to sweeten the deal just a little bit for you. Where I think there are a lot of people out there that would rather just say, well, why don't you just go find a 4 so Keegan can play the correct position? Now, I don't know if maybe Keegan would have said yes to that. Hey, Keegan, we're going to get you in the 3 position, but we're going to pay you, something closer to what a lot of people thought that Keegan would get. Not that it's a crazy overpay, but a lot of people thought, oh, that's more than Jabari Smith Jr. and some of the others. But the fact that they went that route, they gave Keegan, $140 million, something like that. And we know that Keegan's still going to have to play the 4, where they could have went out and just gotten a 4, had Keegan play the 3 and say, hey, well, Keegan, you're going to be playing in position now. That is the head scratcher. We haven't really talked about that. And I know we have discussed the fact that they went out and they got a point guard. They felt like they needed a point guard. Then they went out and got Russell Westbrook because they felt like they needed 2 point guards. And how they just didn't do anything until they signed Precious Achiuwa off the couch a week ago?
To essentially fill a role that Dylan Cardwell was playing for the start of the season.
Right. So I do think that was the big miss, which seems obvious, but I don't know that we talk about it enough. That was the big miss, right? How in the world did you just simply not go out and get this? How do you go from 2 different regimes and 2 different rosters? How do you go from Monty McNair, Wes Wilcox, that regime, Mike Brown, that coach, De'Aaron Fox, that star, that group, bring in a whole different group and still fundamentally have the same issues? That, to me, is the biggest head scratcher. How do you make all these changes and still resemble the one issue that the previous regime had in Monty McNair and Mike Brown saying, we don't necessarily have the horses, and De'Aaron Fox saying to Keegan, on all of these good teams, their best player is normally a wing. And people are going back and forth in what is a wing, and Kyle and I argue about it. Is it a guard that isn't really a point guard? What is it? It's just, to me, just a dude over 6'6". I don't give a heck what you call it. A dude over 6'6" that can defend, shoot, and handle the basketball a little bit, right? I don't care if that's considered a wing. I don't care. I don't want to get caught up into the semantics because we know what we're talking about because it's exactly what the Kings don't have. Because Precious Achiuwa is not a wing to me, right? Precious Achiuwa is an undersized center that plays forward at times.
He's a tweener.
Especially on this team. So that's what it is to me. And you don't have one of those guys, and you haven't had one of those guys, and you moved on from Monty McNair, and you moved on from Wes Wilcox, and you moved on from De'Aaron Fox, and you moved on from Mike Brown, and somehow, some way, it's almost impressive that you still have the same issue. That's what I don't understand. All of the other stuff doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, you can play Keon Moore, sure. Yeah, Devin Carter, there might be something there. How in the world do we still have that same issue that has survived, right? It has survived. What was that movie? Was it Pineapple Express? I was just talking to someone about their favorite movies. Pineapple Express, when the dude continues, you just think that he's going to, he ain't going to make it through the whole movie, but he keeps showing up throughout the whole movie. How has this guy, and by the end of it, he's got a neck brace on and all this other stuff has happened, and it's kind of just the running joke that he has survived. And it's played by Danny McBride, Red, in Pineapple Express. And he makes it through the whole movie, and you think there's no way he's going to make it through the whole movie? You wouldn't think that through all of the changes that have been made, the size issue, AO, and the issue of position log jams would not survive this long, and somehow, some way, it has survived. Somehow, some way, it has survived. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Now, could it be that Scott Perry is waiting it out, and he keeps on saying we'll be patient and prudent? Could it be, hey, this is all part of the plan, right? We knew that it was going to be tough to find somebody this quickly, so I have a larger plan. Hey, Allen, instead of going out and getting John Collins, my plan is to flip this whole thing at the end of the season or right before the trade deadline. And if that's the case, cool. Because at this point, that's one of the only things that makes sense to me.
So here's kind of the interesting thing, because you talked about all the changes they've made to the roster and things like that, but at its core, this is still the same interim beam team. The 6 core players from last year are all the same. You moved on from a Jake LaRavia, you moved on from a Jonas Valanciunas, but ultimately it's the same core of a roster that didn't make sense last year. And now you're kind of seeing the kind of weird in-between phase where you've got your 2-point guards.
Right. That they swore that was going to fix this, the point guard thing.
Which
they didn't even talk about. That's the crazy thing. They didn't even talk about a 4. All we heard was we need a point guard. We need a point guard. That's all we heard.
Which I will say, though, like, we talked about the backup 4 so much over the summer as the other position of need. And it makes me feel at least a little more sane to acknowledge that they were also like, you are correct. No one on this roster is good enough to be a backup 4. Let's go sign Precious Achiuwa. Now, the starting 4 has been out the whole season. And when Keegan comes back, I do think this roster will make a little bit more sense. And they have to be better defensively with Keegan simply because they're the worst defensive team in the league that is actively trying, other than the Pelicans and the Wizards and the Nets. So, like, when Keegan comes back, I do think it will make more sense, but someone is going to get squeezed. We said this when they signed Russell Westbrook. Somebody is going to get squeezed. Right now, that looks like Keon Ellis. I've already given up on Devin Carter being anything. That's just a sunken cost at this point. They gave up on Isaac Jones. Isaac Jones isn't even on the roster anymore. So, yeah, those young guys are the ones, and I know Precious Achiuwa is still young, but the developmental projects are the ones getting squeezed for a team that we all kind of feel like is not good enough as it stands right now. Or at least the results are bearing out that they are not good enough.
Somebody says, I always wanted to see Jonas at center, Domas at 4, and Keegan at 3. Too bad it never happened. Yeah, honestly, looking back on it, if you're going to play Precious and Domas, you could have done that. Yeah, I know hindsight's 20/20, but we sat here. Yeah,
the meats.
We sat here, and the reality was that Jonas and Domas maybe didn't make a ton of sense because Jonas isn't crazy defensively, right? He's no Rudy Gobert, and he ain't going to get you 30.
Yeah, and he's not the craziest rebounder.
No, he's not. He's not. But if we knew that 11 months later, or I guess less than that because of the trade, but if we knew 7 months later you'd be running out Precious and Domas, I would say, and I know Keegan's not playing, but it would just be Keegan in that spot. I would say, oh, well, if they don't care about spacing, then just run Jonas, Domas, and Keegan at the 3, 4, 5.
But it also doesn't change the long-term fact that Keegan probably shouldn't be playing the 4, right? You mentioned Julius Randle earlier, and people still neglect to mention that, Julius Randle goes crazy every time he plays the Kings because the Kings don't have anyone to defend him. Put up 33 in the first game last year when they had DeRozan guarding him for a minute. Put up 26 in their second game. Put up 19 yesterday, but he only played 3 quarters, so he would have gone for 25. And then he put up only 21 in their third game, which was that weird Jay Crowder is starting off the couch game where he somehow shut down Julius Randle.
Okay, not to make a joke, but the Kings, they have to have the best couch to starting lineup pipeline in the NBA. Can we find another team that has signed more guys off their couch and not just played them, Kyle, been in the starting lineup? Jay Crowder was not on a team, and he started for the Kings. Westbrook was not on a team, and he started for the Kings. Precious Achiuwa was not on a team, and he started for the Kings. There's nobody else.
Doug McDermott started a game last year?
He must have.
I feel like he had to have.
He must have. There's no other team that's doing this.
It's also just in recent years, right? This hasn't always been a thing. Yeah, Doug started 3 games last year for the Kings, so that's 4. This one's going to make me sad if it is true, but I don't think it is. I don't think Markelle Fultz started a game last year.
No, he didn't. I forgot he was on the team.
But again, from the couch to the league, Markelle Fultz. Let's see. No, he did not start, but he played in 21 games after the signing.
That completely had left my brain.
That Markelle Fultz was ever on the team.
How many jerseys got sold?
Markelle Fultz Kings jersey. I mean, there's that one guy who I can't remember which one it is, but always reposts the CD Sissoko jersey that he bought for the 2 days he was on the team. So I bet someone has a Markelle Fultz 20 jersey, but it can't be a lot.
Stunned. Absolutely stunned. Let's get to the blame pie chart and who deserves the most blame and why. We got to get to your texts. There's a ton of them. Also your calls, 916-339-1140. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. And yeah, in the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to get to some football. Look, today's the day. I keep trying to tell y'all, the weather's actually kind of nice, but keep the case of the Mondays away. I need my football, man. I might break tonight.
We got to get you on those dream lists. We got to get you on.
If you got that for me, sure. But I'm just going to see how hard it is to upgrade the free Hulu that I have from 13 years ago via Spotify, how hard it is to follow that up.
Are you sure you want to mess with that good thing?
Somebody on the text line said that Hulu Live TV is just the same, a very similar type of setup as YouTube TV. So I'll at least get the trial and see.
I mean, I feel like if it was, more people would be talking about it.
Well, maybe this person is ahead of the curve.
I see people talking about the Fubo or the Fubo.
Yeah, Fubo.
The Fubo.
But Fubo, at least Hulu, I already have an account. I don't have anything for Fubo.
But I feel like people are saying like if the user interface and user accessibility were just as good as YouTube TV, I feel like more people would be like, hey, just go to Hulu.
I just think a lot of people have been on the YouTube hype. But I think I'm going to have to do it today because Packers-Eagles, I can't, even though Packers are banned for me, but both those teams are kind of banned. But
ban list doesn't matter for primetime games.
That's right. See, you're starting to get it.
I'm starting to understand Schmal and Miles' philosophy.
916-339-1140. Let's go to the phone lines. guys want to be a part of the conversation, we still got some text to read through as well. And we are 30 minutes away from Matt Rife tickets. So you don't want to miss that. 916 comedian Matt Rife, 916-339-1140. Yeah, he's at the Golden One Center a year from now. 916-339-1140. Somebody's saying it's Fubo, not Fubu. We know, but it's Fubu to me.
This is a running joke from last week.
Yes, we know it's Fubo, but it's Fubu. For us, by ESPN, not paying YouTube.
Isn't that the thing that the kids are buying now? The Lafufus? The Fubus?
No, that's a Labubu.
The Lafubu?
The Labubu by Fubu. 916-339-1140. Got Steven and got Will. Let's start with Will. What's up, Will? What you got for us?
Hey guys, how you doing today? A little rough day yesterday on both my Niner and Kings.
Oh
fronts,
man,
there you are.
Yeah,
It was one of those days.
Sometimes they're good ones. Some days they're bad, but
that was a forgettable Sunday. Anyway, I want to speak. I know you guys can't say this much, working for the station and all, but I got to say for what I hear and what I feel in the fan base, we all still feel it's not really Scott running things. It's still Vivek interfering because there's this still win now mentality with the team that is not in any way, shape, or form capable of winning now. It's imbalanced. The roster's not right. You have tons of time going to old players who are at the tail end of their careers instead of developing young guys who have some abilities we need to see and develop going forward to the future. It makes no sense. It's like just, go or get off the pot, tear it down, get some young talent here, get a pack of picks for the 26th draft. It's supposed to be an epic draft. And, hey, we can all get behind that because we've all watched Oklahoma City, Portland, all these young teams coming up.
Yeah, that's a great call, Will. Thanks for it. And we've said this going into the season where it's a matter of do we think this is the situation, right? Do we think, as we talked about, head coaches and their autonomy and then GMs and their autonomy, and all roads lead back to ownership, not based on what we're saying, based on what the Athletic reported and all of that muck that happened last season. So here is what I would say, Will. I would say that I look at it and how I would imagine this thing is put together, hopefully, right? Is that Scott Perry comes in and he's listening to ownership. Okay, yeah, I got you. Knowing that this isn't going to work, right? The whole thing with the Athletic article was, does that look like a team that somebody that knows basketball like Monty McNair would attempt to put together? So there is a level of, we will finish it out doing it your way, and after that, we'll do it my way. Hey, maybe there was an understanding of, we're going to come in, see what we can do with the pieces that you've acquired, and then deep down in Scott Perry's mind, once that doesn't work, because it won't, and it's not right now, then we'll do it my way, right? It's like when you have, my kids aren't old enough for it, but, even with the missus, right? She's doing something, she's trying something. Even my little sister doing something, trying something, not working. And hey, you want my help? No, I got it. Okay. Not working. Then they get upset and they get annoyed and they finally say, fine, can you just do it? Can you just show me how to do it? Okay, cool. Now you want to do it my way. That's how I look at this, but there's just a level and a line of how long are they going to do it the other way? That's what we don't know. Right? How long are they going to try at it? Or it would be me, right? Sometimes I was the stubborn person, and then I'd have to ask my mom eventually, hey, all right, do you have a better way to do this? Right? No, I got it. Hey, okay, do you have a better way to do this? Right? Or I should clear up and say, or I'll ask my wife, hey, is there a better way to do this? You get frustrated. Yesterday, we were putting on, that fateful day when we had to do the holiday pictures, we had to put little leggings on number 2. And we're putting leggings on number 2, and I promise you, I thought I laid them down the right way when I went to change her. Then when I changed her back, the feet weren't fitting her little toes, and they're not fitting, and I'm getting ticked off saying, is there a way to fix this? And my wife came over and said, they're backwards. They're on backwards. And I was annoyed because I thought I'd fixed it, but they were on backwards. So it takes a while. You get upset, and maybe that's what's happening with Vivek. All right, fine. Let's do it your way. We just don't know, is that a season? Is that 2 seasons? Is that half a season up until the trade deadline? That's what we don't know. But going into the season, that's what I thought this would be.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a long thing, too. I mean, I guess the answer to your question, though, of like, how is this thing going to get turned around or how long are they willing to ride this out? I feel like the trade deadline is kind of your answer, right? The trade, because either they're going to be proactive in trying to go in whatever direction Scott Perry sees fit.
Yeah.
Or their hand is going to get forced at some point because Levine's contract is going to expire. Sabonis' contract is going to be coming up, and they got to decide what they're going to do with him. And Sabonis has to decide what he wants to do with the back end of his career. Like, the hand is either going to get forced or you can be proactive in trying to make those moves. I just don't know which direction they're going to go because I don't know what direction they're going in right now.
Dynamic Butterfly says, so the moral of the story is the Kings are wearing their shoes backwards, and looking at how they're playing, that seems to be true. That's a pretty good one, Dynamic Butterfly. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Steven. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Steven? What you got for us?
What's good, boys? How you guys doing on this fine Monday?
Man, we're making it through one step at a time. One step at a time, man.
One step at a time, and in your case, one legging at a time.
Literally, quite literally.
Literally, dude. These precious Achua and Eubanks minutes, I feel like have been great. From what I have been seeing, the eye test for me, Eubanks has played with extreme effort. Watching him up against Gobert in the minutes that he was playing last night, it was just effort, just straight up effort. He knew that he was kind of outgunned, outmanned. He doesn't have, an 8'9" wingspan like Gobert does, but he was out here trying to steal his lunch money. And it was really great to see. It was great to see the effort. Precious Achua, he's a 6-year vet, if 6 years is even a vet, but he has playoff experience. So that's like really big to me. But I've really been appreciating the effort, especially from, two guys that came up off the couch, in a way to say, especially Precious. But, it's one of those things, man, where I would love to see, I wouldn't mind seeing Eubanks start every blue moon if, move him to the 5 and then put Sabonis to the floor.
Yeah, I'm not against, and thanks for the call, Steven. Great stuff as always. Yeah, I'm not against anything at this point. You know how people say there are no stupid questions, but then somebody asks something and tries to make it a stupid question, right? I don't think there are any stupid ideas right now when I look at this team. Literally none, right? There's bleep spacing, bleep what is supposed to make sense or not make sense. Anybody could sit as far as I'm concerned. And anybody could start, as far as I'm concerned. I would literally, I'll look at anything. This is from Carl Thornton Jr., and this came in a little while ago. They said, bro, you can't sit up there and call out plus or minus without telling the whole story. Clifford and Achua were not terrible. They're sharing the court with players who are playing terrible, so their plus minus will be affected. Stop painting the narrative that no one on the Kings had a decent game. Just say it. Sabonis, DeRozan, and Schroeder stunk up the joint. I love how you mentioned Sabonis' double-double, but didn't mention what he shot from the field. Carl Thornton Jr. Yeah, Carl, I don't know if you're trying to allude to me liking more players more than others. I don't like any of these players right now, okay? And I didn't even say double-double by term. I just read off what it is. I don't go through stats. I go through what sticks out to me. I'm not purposely, I have no narratives. Right? I mean, if you've been listening to the show, Carl, I'm not very nice to Domantas Sabonis. I'm really not nice to any of the players. So I don't know what narrative you think I'm trying to push, a positive DeRozan, Schroeder, Sabonis narrative. I mean, they all stunk up the joint. Achua, to me, I made some jokes about him taking a 3, but the fact that we are having a conversation about a rookie in Nick Clifford and Precious Achua, who all the other teams said were cool going into the season, I mean, that's the larger issue. We've destroyed Schroeder on this show. We've destroyed Domantas Sabonis on this show, and DeMar DeRozan. So I don't have any type of narratives. Anybody can get it. Even my favorite player, Malik Monk, right? They stink right now. If you don't think I've distributed the stink well enough, look, I think Nick Clifford is, if we talked about the pie chart, which we're going to get into, and who deserves no blame, there ain't a lot. I think it's Keon and Neek and maybe a couple other guys and Dougie McBuckets. But everybody else does deserve blame. There are no narratives here, okay? They all stink right now. Anybody that's playing more than 20 minutes needs to look in the mirror. 916-339-1140. Let's get into that pie chart when we return. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tomorrow night, Kings and Nuggets. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 6:30 with tip-off at 8. Listen to your Sacramento Kings.
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home with a 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Get Black Friday savings during the Happy Honda Days excitement going on now at Stockton Honda, Northern California's best Honda dealer. You'll score big with low payments, top trade-in value, and a huge selection of new Hondas. Don't wait. The clock is ticking at StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Around here, Maverick is more than a name. It's who we are. My dad climbed power poles for a living, and he taught me to keep homes running when it gets cold. This November, donate 5 canned foods to our holiday food drive and choose a furnace tune-up or an electrical safety check. We'll collect your cans at the appointment and keep your heat comfy and your lights steady. So the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com. Limited November appointments. Some restrictions may apply.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily. Brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Got some football coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Richard Sherman on the QB situation. Mac Jones still looked good, even though the team just kind of got rolled. I mean, the Rams are just better. They're healthier. They're just a better squad. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, how about a stinker? That was so bad last night. Normally, I love when the Kings play on Sundays because you get a little double trouble action because you got the NFL on. Chargers, Steelers on paper, supposed to be a good game. And then you have, by the way, now Peg on the chat is saying Hulu is now Fubo. Come on. Is that true?
Hulubu?
Is that true? I mean, this is getting too confusing. We got to double check. But
the Hulufubu?
I got to double check this. So normally, all right, you get football, Kings basketball. This is great double night. 2 stinkers. 2 absolute stinkers. Ridiculous.
I don't know. I turned that football game off at 5-3, and which, by the way, baseball score right there, 5-3 football game in the second quarter. I turned that sucker off at 5-3, and I guess it only got worse for the Steelers.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, I think we all kind of like in the back of our heads thought the Steelers were frauds, but at the same time, I kind of thought the Ravens were cooked, and now the Ravens are only, 2 games back of the Steelers?
Yeah, that was a huge day for the Ravens. They get that W against 9. JJ McCarthy.
I saw someone retweeted on JJ McCarthy's stats, a quarterback is cooked when the fans are pulling out the Peyton Manning and Josh Allen rookie year stats.
Always.
It's over for JJ, I guess.
Yeah, always. So, a bad night of sports. Bad night. The Niner game wasn't good either.
What was the best NFL game of the weekend?
You know what? There was, I guess it was the Bears game. It was 40-40 something.
I guess. Yeah, I'm trying to think what the best one, because all the afternoon games were 44-22.
Yeah, literally, every afternoon game was a blowout. I don't know when the last time that happened, but that was terrible.
It was crazy. It's not a scoregami, but it's got to be when is the last time in the same block of games you had 2 scores of 44-22?
And you know what? I'm making that up. That Bears game, that was a week prior when it was 40-40 something. They beat the Giants 24-20.
I guess the best game probably was that Patriots-Bucks game. That was actually pretty good.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good one. Patriots are rolling.
Davis Mills, baby. 19-point fourth quarter comeback. Yeah. Davis Mills like he never left.
The Jaguars, man. What a disaster. So, bad day in general. I don't know what Eagles-Packers is going to look like. Why do I weirdly think that could be another stinker?
Because it's the Green Bay Packers.
Could be an unders day.
If you told me the Green Bay Packers scored 10 points in a game, I'd believe you 1,000% of the time. Yeah. They could do that against anyone.
So we'll get into that more so in the 1 o'clock hour. And when it comes to the blame pie and the pie chart that gets distributed nearly every week here, how much blame, which players are not are blameless? Okay, I think it would be. Honestly, I don't really put a lot of blame. We get the easy ones out the way, right? Dario, for existing? I don't know. But Doug, Dario, Devin.
I guess Maxime, he didn't play much.
Maxime.
He played more on Friday, I guess, because Sabonis is out.
And I'll throw Keon in there. Just guys that just aren't playing enough, right? Now let's get to the guys that are playing and who I would not blame. I do not blame Precious Achiuwa. I do not blame Drew Eubanks. And I don't really blame Russell Westbrook.
For first 2, is that just because they can't be important enough to matter?
What are they here? What's the point, right? I don't really blame Russell Westbrook. And honestly, the last person I'm going to say, I know he hasn't been perfect, and maybe I'm being prisoner of the moment, but I don't know that I'm really putting a lot of blame on Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, I know he's dealt with the lower back. He didn't look great in Denver, but besides that, he's shot the ball really well. He was 6 of 9 last night. He's tried to defend at a high level, and I'm just not really sure what more you could ask. That's how I look at it. What more could you ask for from that player?
It's just the defense, which is...
I think he's been decent defensively.
That's what Zach is saying. It's not an effort thing on the defense. It's just they're not good enough.
Domantas Sabonis is tough. I know he's been injured with that rib contusion, but I think he could be a little bit better. DeMar DeRozan, when it comes to... he's teaching an old dog new tricks. I think he could be better, but is it really DeMar's fault? I don't know.
But with both DeMar and Zach, I understand how these games kind of become a microcosm of what their hating reputation would be. Because, remember that old Draymond Green quote when he was talking about Cat, and he's like, that's Cat, he's going to score 40 and you're going to lose by 20.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing people say about Zach LaVine. Yeah, he's going to go for 30, but you're going to lose by 20.
And DeMar.
Yeah, DeMar's going to go.
All on the same team.
Yeah, you're going to go for 30 and you're going to lose by 20. And I get that kind of plays into it. They're not exactly breaking their reputations from what they've been the last 4 years on the Bulls.
And it is silly, or people would say that it was silly to think that was going to happen. But we were told that Dennis Schroeder was going to fix things. So obviously Dennis Schroeder could be better. Like I said, DeMar DeRozan, I know he is who he is, but Even the fourth quarter stuff I've been on him about. I think there are a couple games that he could have closed out for the Kings that he just didn't. DeMontis could be better. They all could be better, don't get me wrong. Malik Monk, what's sticking out in my mind is just all those Olays, just continuing to reach for steals and then raise his hand after he's given up a wide open three.
I mean, you're saying a lot of names, but I don't see a lot of pie being distributed here.
Well, it's in the player pie. Who isn't a part of the player pie? The player pie itself is probably getting about 30%. The roster construction should be at about 40, I think. So that leaves 70, and I think 70 goes to the guys that aren't on the court. The guys that were all sitting courtside and left when Keon checked in. I'm kidding. They came back, but that was a big thing. I don't know if you saw, Kyle, but it was I saw from 3 different media members. They all left as Keon checked in.
But then Scott Perry and somebody else came back.
Then they came back.
Was it Alvin? I can't remember.
Yeah. Then they came back.
But not Vivek. Vivek didn't come back.
So I thought he did.
The one update I saw, it said Scott Perry and somebody else that I can't remember who it was.
So we have Podium Gate. By the way, there's Podium Gate. I'm telling you, we're literally back in 2023. I'm still in a boot for my Achilles.
Keon in the doghouse.
Chris Watkins is across from me. This is literally 2023. All of it. Time
is but a flat circle.
I guess more 2024 because that's when Keon had kind of showed who he was. So literally 2024.
We'd have to look it up again. I think the Keon, because it was the one Keon DNP game was really when the doghouse thing kind of took over. I kind of think that was in 2023.
It might have been in the 2024 season.
Yeah. It was about 2 years ago, I'd say.
So that's what we're dealing with right now. And a lot of people are curious what's going to happen next.
Yeah, the Keon Ellis DNP game was November 29th.
2023.
2023, yes. He played 5 minutes the game before and then was a DNP on 2023, November of 2023.
And then it continued in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, so he had the 3 straight DNPs January 2nd, January 3rd, and January 5th.
This is so funny, Kyle, because there's such an easy way to kind of deduce what's going on. And I have a homework assignment for you, Kyle, during the break. All we got to do is look up how many minutes Keon was playing post Mike Brown and we could just do post Mike Brown. So not even after the De'Aaron Fox trade. All we need to know is how many minutes Keon was playing post Mike Brown. And that will tell us whether this feels like a decision that Doug is making, whether it's just a logjam thing, or whether it's some tinfoil hat stuff. That's what it comes down to.
All right. So after Mike got
Hold on, Kyle. We're going to do it on the other side. Right after we give away these tickets to see Matt Rife. And this is a call-in situation, 916-339-1140. Kyle's going to pick the lucky number for your chance to win exclusive tickets that have not been released yet because it's not till next year. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Black Friday savings start now. Get your best deal through the end of the month at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
With Black Friday savings during Happy Honda Days, own or lease your new Honda Accord or Civic today. Your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Visit us at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery, embrace the company of family and friends, and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sactown Sports.
Clearing up those phone lines just to clog them all up, just to give them a log jam, just like the Kings guard situation. Be the first to win a pair of tickets to see comedian Matt Rife bring his newly announced Stay Golden World Tour to Golden One Center on October 11th, 2026. We're looking for lucky caller number
5.
Lucky caller number 5 at 916-339-1140 to win one of the first pairs of tickets to see comedian Matt Rife at Golden One Center on October 11th, 2026. That's caller number 5. Caller number 5, caller number 5, 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. Call lines are filling up. I see caller number 1. I see caller number 2. I see caller number 3. I see caller number 4. I see caller number 5. Kyle is going to give you the good news, and that is going to continue to happen throughout the week. So this is the first winner. Continue to listen and call in at 1 o'clock for your chance to win. As we break down a lot of the different decisions that have been made, right? And 925 says everyone that works in Golden One, now it sounds like the Giannis thing from what was that, a couple years ago. Everybody that even does our laundry, they need to be better. 925 says everyone that works in Golden One, I'm pretty sure the vendors could have done better. Look, we ain't putting this on the vendors. The vendors ain't out there setting screens and trying to get rebounds. All right, we ain't putting this on the vendors. Okay? 916 says from Kimberly, it's ridiculous to blame any of these players. The blame is on the ones that thought this would work. And this goes back to the idea of how the level of effort could be better compared to who they are. I do think they could play better. I don't think, if you're asking me, 144 to 117, are the Kings 30 points worse than the Timberwolves? I don't think so. They played like it, but I don't think so. Now, if you ask me, are they 30 points worse than the Thunder? Maybe. Probably. But I don't think they're 30 points worse than the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I know I'm not very high on the Timberwolves, but I just don't think that. So that is where this thing can go in a couple different directions. And it depends on what level of effort and what level of blame you want to put on them. I don't think you can say that these players deserve no blame. No blame at all. 916 says, roster construction is literally everything, 90%. You wouldn't blame a wrench for not doing the job on a nail that a hammer would. You wouldn't be like, man, this wrench really stinks at being a hammer. I get that. And I heard Dave on the morning show said you wouldn't ask, a pig to moo, right? Or a cow to oink, oink. I understand that. I'm just saying I still think that this team is not 30 points worse than the Timberwolves. I do think they could play better. Now, there are two conversations being had here. Do I think in a perfect world, and am I on record saying that this team could play good enough to get the 8 seed? Yes. But realize what I just said. The 8 seed to probably get dog walked by the Thunder or whoever ends up getting the 1 seed. So there's levels to what it is. This team, you can make the 8 seed and not be a contender, right? 8 seeds don't win the whole thing. So you're not really a contender. They just need somebody to play in the first round and get that playoff revenue. And sometimes, every once in a while, as we talked about yesterday with the underdog conversation, or last week with the underdog conversation, sometimes they can win it. Or win that first series, of course. But me saying that they could be an 8 seed is not me saying that they could win a championship, because that's not what 8 seeds ever really do. But I do think that they could play better. So if you're looking at this as it pertains to Allen, they're not good enough to win a championship. That's how I'm looking at the roster. Then I don't disagree with you. But I do think that separately, to compartmentalize, as we have to do a show, because here's the other part of this. The last trade, I looked this up, okay? The first trade in 2024-2025 season, the first trade, I have it right here. The first trade was mid-December 2024. That was the first trade. Then that next trade was, funny enough, also in mid-December, it was Dennis Schroeder. It was the Warriors' Dennis Schroeder. So the roster construction thing is what it is. But we're kind of stuck. We are kind of stuck. You don't have a lot of different avenues to go to. I'm looking here, and it ends February 6th, of course. But I'm looking here. The Pacers got Thomas Bryant for a 2031 second-round swap. That was December 15th. December 15th, also, Dennis Schroeder and a 2025 second-round pick via Miami to the Warriors for DeAnthony Melton, Reese Beekman, and a bunch of second-rounders. That was December 15th. December 29th is when D'Angelo Russell got traded, and they get bigger as we go forward. D'Angelo Russell was traded to the Nets, where he could play ball and not care about winning. And Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton went to the Lakers. January 15th, Nick Richards and 1 second-rounder went to the Suns, and the Hornets got Josh Okogie and 3 second-rounders. And then, January 21st, the Jazz got a 2031 unprotected first-rounder, and the Suns got a bunch of first-rounders for that. Drew Eubanks went to, and Patty Mills, there's a name drop, went to the Clippers February 1st for Mo Bamba, PJ Tucker, a second-round pick in cash considerations. So, and then, and this is how I'll end it, February 2nd, Luka, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, 2029 first-round pick. And then on the same day, actually, or this is when it all became official, February 2nd was also when De'Aaron Fox, and here's a name drop, Jordan McLaughlin went to the Spurs, and the Kings got Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks, and the Bulls got Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and a 2025 first-round pick. So if you're reading how this thing progressed throughout, it took a while for things to heat up. So those that want to talk about blowing it up, we can do that. Just understand we are at least, we are over a month out from when anything happened last year. That's the reality. We are over a month out from anything. The earliest trade was December 15th, 2024 last season. That's the truth.
Well, and that's probably when it's going to be this year, because that's when all the player pool is eligible to be traded.
Exactly.
So you're riding this thing out until Keegan gets back, which honestly is where it was before, but it's just kind of good to reemphasize that.
Exactly. So 916-339-1140. Al wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Al? Al wants to talk about Keegan Murray. What's up, Al? What you got for us?
Hey, guys. I literally just tuned in, and it sounds like you've been discussing Keegan Murray. The thing for me is, and I think a lot of fans would agree, we paid Keegan Murray $140 million on his extension. He's our best defensive player, so if when he comes back, this team can improve and show signs, then you absolutely have to blow it up. Vivek has nowhere to hide anymore. You know, we've gone through every circle of hell with this team. There's nowhere for him to hide. So they either improve with Keegan Murray, make some, small deals along the way, maybe sit Schroeder's ass down on the bench because the guy's not playing well, get Ellis some more minutes and try to fortify a lineup. Or, guys, and we all know it, it's time to say sayonara to this crap that we've been watching and just move things along and plan for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Al. Great stuff. When I heard Doug bring up Keegan Murray, and I think that was on Warriors night, if I'm not mistaken. When Doug brought up Keegan Murray, and I said this to Kyle and I think to Jason Ross, when Doug brought up Keegan Murray and he said, yeah, and hopefully we get Keegan back soon, I had to double check because I know time flies by. And I knew it was going to be in November. But I think if I'm not mistaken, this is week 4. So I think he might get reevaluated. He could get reevaluated this week if I'm not mistaken. But it's 4 to 6. So he might not. And Doug was asked about it. And there are not a lot of a ton of details. But yeah, he basically said, yeah, Keegan's around.
So the Kings press release that said Keegan underwent successful surgery was October 13th, which is exactly 4 Mondays ago from today.
So that's what I thought. This is the 4th week.
This is the start of week 4.
Yes.
Of 4 to 6, which was the original timeline.
To be reevaluated.
That's the other key word, because people have made the point, medical people, not just regular schmucks, but to be fully healthy, you're looking at like a 8 to 12 week timeline. Now, this is the NBA. People shorten those timelines all the time to get back on the floor, but you're looking at a longer recovery period, even though in 4 to 6 weeks, you might be able to get back on the court.
So I'm just looking here. By the time November is over, let's say November 30th, right? So we are all still full on our turkey and Thanksgiving. There are 11 more games. And this is what we had said to begin with. That we said when this happened, it's probably going to be about 20 games in, right? So 20 games in, that's basically a quarter of the season. And we could look up, and we haven't done it in a while. We could look up, and this thing, I don't hope that's the case. It could be cooked. You are, obviously, no one's talking about the first seed, but we said you're 3.5 games back of the 6th seed right now, okay? Right now. Now, 3.5 games back of the 6th seed. The 11 games you have remaining while Keegan, we're just highballing it, or I don't know if we're highballing it or lowballing, to be honest with you.
So here's the point. November 30th is the end of week 6. So let's call it that. He's
perfect.
Let's say he's at the end of week 6 is the end of November.
So we're kind of highballing it, being realistic. Maybe he comes back sooner, but just for the sake of the drill. Tomorrow starts a back-to-back. They host the Nuggets and they host the Hawks. Then they have the good old NBA Cup. They got to go to Minnesota this time.
Oh, we get to play on the green court?
Oh, Lord.
Yes, we get to play on the neon court where it was reflecting on players' faces.
Next, you got to go to the Riverwalk. De'Aaron Fox and the crew.
24 points in his return?
Yeah, it was against the Pelicans. I'm still a hater. De'Aaron Fox and the crew and the 4 other guards, you got to take them on. And the second-seeded San Antonio Spurs. Okay, so those are your first 4. Then you have to go, stop me if you've heard this before, to Oklahoma City to face the Thunder. Again, I think they're done with the Thunder after this, though.
I think there's one more later.
You have another against the Thunder. Head to OKC. That's your first 5. Then you head to Memphis to take on Ja, future King, and the Grizzlies. Then, stop me if you've heard this before, you got to go to Denver to take on the Nuggets again. Then, stop if you've heard this before, the Timberwolves come back to town. Okay? Then you get a break, who you already lost to, so I don't know why I'm calling it a break, against the Suns. Then you get a real break as you got to go to Utah to take on the Jazz.
Who also have a better record.
And then to close out November, you welcome the Grizzlies again. So I'm not even going to go through the win-loss right there. Just by the names, you could be looking at 8 games out of the 6 seed. Are you seriously though?
You said it would be hard to find 10-10 at this point. Would you say it'd be hard to find 8-12 now? Because I make this point, they're going to accidentally win some of these games.
Kyle, brother, I know we're only going to have you one day this week. You keep saying that. We keep waiting for the accidental wins.
It's gonna happen. Well, they already got the Bucks.
They got one.
They got the Bucks. I'm saying they're going to win a couple of these games by the other team having a bad shooting game, or Westbrook having a 30-point triple-double like he did against the Warriors. Like they're going to win a couple of these games that you're not expecting them to win. That's just how the NBA works. But I still have a hard time finding 8-12 out of the stretch.
Chris from Orangevale. I love Keegan, y'all, but what are we talking about here? LOL. He's not LeBron or Jordan. He's a great defender, but can't help this mess alone. But Chris, who said that Keegan was helping this mess? He makes them better defend. Chris, who said that they're gonna go undefeated once Keegan comes back? He is their best defender. He is their best defender of larger players, right? 3s and 4s and 2s, bigger 2s, since Keon can't get off the pine. When did we say he's LeBron or Jordan? Nobody is saying that.
But
they will be better. Spoiler alert, they should be better. They will be better, I think, with Keegan. Nobody said they're going to be, look, same idea. Keegan or no Keegan, the ceiling for this team is an 8 seed, if I'm not making myself clear. That is as clear as I can be.
Defensively, they're going to have to be better because it literally can't get worse. As we mentioned, defensive rating-wise, they are the worst team in the league that is not the Pelicans or the Nets or the Wizards, teams who are either not trying or should not be trying in the case of the Pelicans, which I guess the Pelicans doesn't matter anymore. You don't have your pick. But teams that we regard as tanking are the only ones worse on defense than the Kings.
So I don't know. I think that everybody understands where this team is right now, but the reality, and this is why I laid out when moves started happening last season, because this is what I see. Oh, man, Perry better go get on the phones. Who's picking up right now? The Grizzlies, maybe.
But they want you to know we're not trading Ja Morant.
No, they want you to know they're not trading Ja Morant. Or, hold on, again, this is from Kurt Heelan of NBCSports.com. If the Grizzlies were to entertain Ja Morant, they would want either a star player who can sell tickets or a boatload of picks and young players in return. They're basically they're holding strong right now. That because nobody's giving them that.
Which they honestly they should.
Maybe the first, but nobody's giving them the latter. Most people would rather do, hey, let's try out Darius Garland, whatever it is. Nobody is giving up a boatload of picks and young players, not in this climate. And not in this time period where you got the second apron. Everybody wants player control. Unless the question then becomes, what are the picks and who is the quote-unquote young talent? Is that Reed Shepherd? Is that Tari Eason?
I think it's also like, what stage is this team in, right? Because if you're the Kings and you're trading for Ja Morant, that's not elevating your ceiling enough to compete for a championship. But if you're Minnesota and you're trying to trade for Ja Morant.
Okay, Rob Dillingham, who can't get off the bench.
And
who?
The centerpiece of the package to make the money work would be Jaden McDaniels. They would give up.
That'd be crazy.
McDaniels for Ja Morant? I mean, I know Jaden McDaniels is having a great start to the season, but let's not get too crazy here about what Jaden McDaniels is.
Is he a star, though?
He's not. I'd rather have Ja Morant.
No. I'm saying who says no? I'm saying they just said a star who can sell tickets That is not Jaden McDaniels.
No, but this is the young player and pick
Oh,
combination. I'm saying the Grizzlies would be the Jaden McDaniels, Rob Dillingham, their 2032 first.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to throw in Mike Conley just to make the money work, which the Grizzlies would be fine. Hey, you want to sell tickets? Mike Conley retirement tour, baby.
Yeah, why not?
One of your most popular players in franchise history. Hey, you can sell so many tickets at his last regular season game this year.
Why not? Why not? But that's what you're looking for here. So I don't know the people that want to do it. And look, I don't believe that the Grizzlies are going to hold strong to this. I think this is literally you go in, I love my Shark Tank. You go in at an amount. They say, okay, well, we're going to do this. And now I guess this would make the Grizzlies the person giving the pitch, right? And the rest of the teams, they are the Sharks. So the Sharks are going to come back with something, and the negotiations are going to begin.
But that's crazy because you shouldn't have to pitch Ja Morant.
Yes, you should.
It's Ja Morant. You shouldn't have
Kyle,
to. They have to.
No.
But you shouldn't have to.
Please go look up his three-point percentage again because I think it went down. It was at 14. Kyle. And the dude can't stay on the floor, too.
All right, let's see. We've got Ja Morant currently sitting at 14.8% from three.
I think it did go up a little bit. I think it did go up just a tiny bit.
On the season, he is 8 for 54.
Hey, shoot or shoot.
Which I think is more than everyone on the Kings except Levine in terms of attempts. Which it's Ja Morant. I get it, but it's been rough for him.
Yeah. A couple texts still coming in. And 916 says, I just think there's no reason to talk playoffs, in my opinion. And this is again from Chris in Orangevale following up on what they said earlier. I mean, if you're talking 8, I'm saying their ceiling is at 8 seed. That's barely talking playoffs. You got to fight through the play-in, win those play-in games. I don't even feel like to be honest with you, Chris from Orangevale, I don't even feel like I'm talking playoffs. I feel like I'm talking a logistical win or financial win for ownership where they get what, Kyle? 2 games at home and playoff T-shirts.
Well,
it's not. I'm not real. We're talking playoffs, but we're not really talking playoffs.
Well, if it's the play-in, though, the only way to get 2 home play-in games is to be the 7 seed, lose, and then have to play the next one. But if you get into the playoffs... No,
I'm just saying as an 8 seed. Yeah, I'm saying as an 8 seed.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically you'd have 3 if you do it through the play-in.
Yeah.
You'd get 1 in the... Well, I guess you could be the 10 seed like the Heat.
That's all I'm saying, Chris. We're not really talking playoffs. Real playoffs start to me, and I guess you have to start it here. It just is above the play-in because the Timberwolves just went to the Western Conference Finals from the 6th seed. Anything play-in through the play-in to me, and I know Jimmy Butler and his Heat did it those years back, but realistically, what are we talking about here?
Hey, Beam Team season, LeBron and the Lakers from the 7th seed. Conference Finals got swept by the Nuggets, but Conference Finals.
Down season, clearly.
Look, and to the point about the playoffs, though, I understand not wanting to talk about playoffs because Doug Christie has not said the word playoffs when they've talked about expectations.
None of them have.
Scott Perry has never said the word playoffs. He's been asked about expectation. What is your expectation? What is your expectation? Never once has used the word playoffs. It's been about platform of sustainable success and other stuff, but it's never once been specifically playoffs. That has never been expressly outlined as a goal for this team from the very beginning when they were hired.
Let me ask you a question with all the vets on this team. And, hey, we want that vet leadership. And I know we've seen Russ talk to Neek. We've seen Russ talk to Maxime. Russ was at the, shout out. It's been a pretty rough show just as far as the optimism. Russ was at the Stockton Kings game. What the heck is Russ doing at a Stockton Kings game? He ain't on his yacht. He's hanging out in Stockton, right? That's good on Russ. You got to see Maxime and some of the boys play. So that's good on Russ. That stuff is cool. But deep down, how much is that actually helping the young players? And by young players, I mean dudes that are almost 30 because they don't have any actual young players.
I mean, Maxime is still pretty young.
Maxime and And you know what was crazy?
You're making me feel old if Neek Clifford is almost 30.
You know what's crazy? Yesterday, it was Draper yesterday, right? On the broadcast. I'm pretty sure it was. Or was it Mark?
I think it was Mark.
Okay. I think it was Mark. And yesterday, Neek was guarding Ant. And Mark said, oh no, I think this could be Neek's welcome to the league moment. Ant is 1 year older than Neek.
Are you serious?
Yesterday, he said this could be Neek's welcome to the league moment, and Ant is 1 year older than Neek. How crazy is that?
I mean, I get it, but like that's pretty funny. That's so good.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, your welcome to the league moment is against your peer,
yes,
age-wise.
Yes, and now we obviously have to look up the actual birthdays just for fun. It looks like
I know Anthony Edwards is 2000s baby.
Yes, Anthony Edwards was born August 5th, 2001. He is 20. He is 24.
Neek Clifford, February 9, 2002. So
real year.
6 months. It is 6 months of difference.
Welcome to the. What if he said that? Because he would say that. Welcome to the league. Because he's about to turn 24. Welcome to the league, young fella.
6 months younger than you.
That reminds me of in school, right? When you would be in class with someone, say, "I'm older than you." Ha ha. That's what it reminds me of.
I mean, I was a June baby, so I was always the youngest in my grade, so I get it.
Hey, welcome to the league, young fella. I'm going to show you a thing or two.
It's like that meme from whatever that Adam Sandler movie is with, what is it, Bo Cruz and Anthony hunched over, and Edwards is kind of turning to him, except it's just Neek Clifford.
Yeah. This is my league. This is going to be your league one day, but probably not because we're the same age.
We talk about the Stockton. G League is going to be your league one day.
916-339-1140. 916 says, why don't you guys do a poll of how many fans are willing to blow it up and lose for 4 to 5 years versus continuing to deal with this absolute bleep show? I just feel like we've done that. We can. I feel like we've done that.
Dave literally did it over the summer.
I feel like we do that once. One of these shows do it once a month. And normally it really depends on the only reason I do find it interesting to the 916's point is because normally on Twitter, people are way more upset than callers. I don't know about texters, but people that we talk to on this show, it feels like it depends on the platform, right? Twitter is just inherently a sad place for the most part. And everyone is upset on X. So when Dave ran it on X, I was this close to responding because he ran it on X. Basically, everybody said, blow it up. And I almost said something, but I felt, you know what? I don't want to get involved. But I almost said, well, Dave, you'd actually just have to run it, I think, on every platform that you have because X is just so volatile and so sad.
Well, this also reminds me of
and cynical, I would say, X is.
Probably so, but I think that's also just actively engaged in social media in general.
Sure.
But this also goes back to the point Sean Cunningham made when he was on with us, which is like people who are paying to watch the games are less apt to be in favor of a rebuild than people who are listening on the radio or watching it on TV.
Yeah.
Right? The people who are spending lots of money on the team are more likely to want to see a contender every single year. And that's kind of an interesting dichotomy that has kind of stuck with me as you talk about the rebuild or tear down or whatever conversation. Also, I just generally think it sounds good to say I'll be bad for 4 to 5 years until you actually live it. And then it's not fun to go that long knowing that you're not playing for anything.
Yeah, I think this changes to the 916's text. 4 to 5 is kind of crazy. 4 to 5, I mean, I'll be 40 years old. The next time, and obviously how it happens is, depends on how it works, but I would be in a completely different tax bracket. 4 to 5 years is a long time. Kyle would be no longer the youngest person at the station because I'm sure there'd be somebody else. Kyle would no longer have any young jokes. I mean, 4 to 5 years, not to get caught on semantics, but that's a long time. 4 to 5 years is a long time.
Does make me feel better that I will still be in my 20s, though.
Barely.
Hanging on by a thread.
Barely. Not if it's that 5. Not if it's that 5. 916-339-1140. Podium Gate is back. Last time nobody cared. Do you care now? Because I don't know if I do. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tomorrow night, Kings and Nuggets. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 6:30 with tip-off at 8. Listen to your Sacramento Kings.
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
The year was 1948. The Sacramento Symphony was founded. Harry Truman was president, and Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver was born. And Walter Keyes opened his first Naturewood home furnishing store 77 years ago on 25th and Broadway. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. All those many years ago, the Keyes family promised integrity and quality in serving families just like yours and mine. Near as I can tell, Walter would have been pretty proud to know that those same values are evident today at Naturewood Home Furnishings. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings. Furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their Veterans Day Save the Tax sale and get started making your own brand of memories. The Keyes family would love to hear them. Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage. Weird, but still a salad. One radish and a couple of green beans. Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke. Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-838-6767. That's 800-838-6767.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
We have made it to the Dirty 30. And the Dirty 30 is easier when there's no crosstalk. And we love crosstalk, but Whitey Gleason and Jay Johnson, they are live from Hard Rock.
I believe so.
Okay, so they're always somewhere.
From what I understand, there may be special guests as well joining them.
They are always on the move. I stopped by, saw them at Revival on Friday. That was fun. Everything was fun. You know, and I don't know, those who have been to Kings games, now they're doing kind of these pump-up rallies before the game. I saw Deuce and Mo out there with Scott Moak and Scott Freshour getting everybody juiced up.
All 50 people?
It was a good bit.
How early before the game are we talking? Because, like, tomorrow for an 8
It was pretty early. It was pretty early, yeah,
Okay.
to your point. I mean, I walked in at probably around 5, and they had already been going. So it was before 5.
Okay. So for an 8 p.m. start time, what do we think they're doing it at? 5:30? 6?
Well, and
It's already going to be dark at that point.
They're not doing it before every game. I don't know if it's a Friday special or whatever it is, but there's a decent group of people out there, you know, starting to get it going. Throwing basketballs out. And
so it's like a pep rally?
Pretty much, yeah. There's a drum line that was there.
Like the people who do the drums outside the stadium?
No,
not them?
Actual drum line.
They should just get the guys who play on the
actual drum line.
The cans.
So it was an actual drum line. And my buddy is now texting me saying he's about to try Hulu and that it is not Fubu.
The Hulu Fubu?
So I don't know. That was somebody on the chat saying Hulu was Fubu. It is not.
Hulu is not Fubu.
No.
But
So come
neither
on.
is Fubu.
Come on now.
Fubu is just for ESPN.
Let's do a little bit of football here as the Niners lose. Mac Jones still didn't look bad at all, and it was a bit confusing what's going on here. We have some sound from Richard Sherman, but Shanahan said Brock, quote, could have gone today, talking about yesterday, as the backup, but he decided to hold him back. Thinks he is ahead of where he was when he came back to play against the Jaguars. So this is how we started the show. Is there any other true blue? And I'm not talking about the Tuas, right? Or maybe I am, but is there any other true blue quarterback that would have not played yesterday? Or should I say the team would say, you know what? I think it's better if we just go with our backup, right? So let me just give you the list. Let's assume Brock was good to go, but let's assume he was realistically 80%. And I'm just going here, and Daniel Jones at the top, but we're not going to start with Daniel Jones. We're going to start with more of the household names, if you will. 80% of Justin Herbert or Trey Lance.
Yeah, they're going with
okay.
Herbert. They were taping up Herbert's ankle on the sideline.
Yeah. Drake May's tough because he's new. 80%. I think Matt Stafford is at best 80% whenever he plays football.
Also, 80% of Drake May versus the Pastronaut. I'm pretty sure I'm going with Drake May.
Okay. 80% of Matthew Stafford, that's obvious. 80% of Patrick Mahomes.
If I can get 80% of Matthew Stafford ever, I'm in.
Yeah. 80% of Patrick Mahomes. Come on.
Over anyone. Yes.
80% of Dak over, it's not Cooper Rush anymore. Oh, the guy who throws the ball really far from his knees with the dreads.
What?
The guy with the Joe, is it Joe Milton? Joe Milton.
He's their backup?
Yeah. And all I know is he throws the ball really far.
They don't got anyone else.
I know he plays. Dak, 80% of Dak Prescott or Joe Milton?
I knew they had Joe Milton. I thought they had someone. No, I guess Joe Milton's the backup. Okay. I thought they had someone else.
80% of Sam Darnold or that dude from Bama?
Oh, Milrow? Oh, I love me some Milrow. But Sam Darnold's actually really good.
Okay. 80% of Jared Goff, or I know Hendon Hooker's not on the team, but to me, he's still on the
Spiritually
team.
Hendon Hooker.
You're going with Jared Goff. I don't even know who the Lions backup is. 80% of Baker Mayfield or
Teddy Two Gloves.
Teddy Two Gloves.
I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. By the way, Kyle Allen is the Lions backup.
But of course, Josh Allen. Obviously, Josh Allen.
Is it Trubisky? Who's back there?
Caleb Williams. Now, these younger guys is where it gets kind of weird.
They still have, what's his name? Agent Bajent? Is he still there?
I don't know. Jordan Love, 80%. Yes.
Who's their backup?
80% of Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, that's right. The Packers have Malik Willis.
Oh, my goodness.
Who also, that was the one. Remember how I say after,
I know what you're going to say.
After Josh Allen, everyone was trying to get their own Josh Allen. He was the one that everyone was like, actually, nah, we're good on that one.
We've done too much. We've done too much now. 80% of Geno. Well, I don't want any of Geno.
You don't want Two Gloves either.
No,
Kenny
I don't
Two
want.
Gloves.
I just pass on the Raiders. They don't get a chance to do this.
I know we're getting into the weeds now with it a little bit, but like the one example you could point to is the Cardinals literally made this call with Jacoby Brissett versus Kyler Murray. But the difference is they don't want Kyler Murray anymore.
Right.
They are headed towards a breakup with Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. The 49ers are very committed to Brock Purdy as the starting quarterback.
80% of Tua or Skylar Thompson. I don't know if
it's Zach Wilson now.
Tua? You still want Tua? 80%. He might only be at 80% most of the time.
Like honestly, that's my inflection point of do I think I can fix Zach Wilson?
CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts, I'm taking them at 80%.
I mean, Davis Mills. Say it. Davis Mills, comeback kid.
Stop it. So, just as far as that exercise is concerned, this is weird. And now we have Richard Sherman saying, hey, this could actually be a thing, but he's not doing it in the hot takey way, just trying to break down what exactly it is going on in Santa Clara. Here it is.
I thought Mac Jones, again, played really good football. 33 of 39, 319 to 3 touchdowns and an interception that got tipped up. With him, it was a play he had to have. He had to let the ball go. It was a 4th down. He had to put the ball in harm's way, and Emmanuel Forbes made a great play on it. But I don't think it does anything to shake the confidence of Kyle Shanahan and him. And I think there is a little bit of a quarterback controversy. And I'm not even trying to be controversial. I love Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is the guy in San Francisco. But there is something about a hot hand and guys playing, you know what I mean, and knocking off the rust. And there aren't many games where you feel comfortable saying, hey, this is a game we feel like we can knock the rust off. This is a game we put somebody in and knock the rust off.
They're getting close. And look, the word on the street is that obviously if they're saying Purdy could have played, and I don't know what to do with that, but the word on the street is that he'll be back next week. That's what is floating around. And I said last week, if he doesn't play by the Panther game, he might not play this season. So I think they're running out of places to hide. I don't know if hide is the correct terminology, but I think they're running out of places to hide, and they have to play him. Look, the Cardinals looked a complete mess. And Seattle, they're rocking and rolling. They got a huge game against the Rams. So the Niners, even with all their injuries, they should feel good enough to have a decent shot at beating the Cardinals. But I think it's just getting a bit loud. And as we talk about that D word of distraction, they didn't like it with Trey Lance, right? They got Trey Lance out of there. Trey Lance kind of wanted to get out of there as well. So that distraction word that comes up, he's getting asked about. You got a bunch of distractions, if you're being honest. You got the Ricky Pearsall thing. You got the Brock thing. I don't even think it's Brandon Ayuk because nobody expects him to play anymore. But at some point, you got to play Brock. You can't say stuff like that. To me, I know last week I said if he doesn't play by the Panthers game, he's not going to play this season. But for Kyle Shanahan to then say he could have played today, you're backing yourself into a corner where I'm pretty sure Brock is going to play against the Cardinals. I mean, it's homecoming for him, right? I know a lot of people think he's from Iowa. He's from Arizona, but it's a homecoming for him.
It's also going to be all 49er fans there.
Like, it has to be that.
I don't know how injured he actually is.
But why is Kyle Shanahan saying stuff like this?
Because Kyle Shanahan keeps saying this. Whitey had the great joke that's like, Kyle Shanahan saying a player is day-to-day means he's physically able to walk, and Kyle Shanahan saying he might not be able to go means he's physically unconscious and cannot play. Like, that is Kyle Shanahan code speak that he's decided he's going to do, which is not be transparent about any injury report stuff, to the point where it is confusing the entire fan base about what is actually happening with Brock Purdy. And Steve Young is saying Brock Purdy should revolt if the team tries to hold him off the field.
I'm with Steve. Get on out there. Let's keep the conversation going. All right. The ban list wasn't really that strong this weekend for Schmal and Miles, but we'll talk about some guys that flirted with the ban list, and we also get into a little bit of prop talk as we get you ready for Monday Night Football. And, of course, the drive guys. We got a little bit more Kings talk, of course. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home with a 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Carmichael Dave here for American Energy Heat and Air. Right now, breaking news, they're upgrading their offering to include plumbing, bringing that same expertise and experience to the plumbing space. They're no longer just heat and air. They're now your American Energy Home Pros. You hear me talk about them as your second opinion partner. Now you can still get second opinions on any HVAC service or replacement, and now you can get a second opinion on any of your plumbing services. They'll come out to your house for free, and they'll give you a second opinion and almost certainly save you money. Oh, but wait, there's more. With winter coming up, how about a free furnace special? With full system installation, you're getting a free furnace, not a discounted furnace, a free furnace, and up to $4,000 in rebates while that funding lasts. So get there right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Black Friday savings start now. Get your best deal through the end of the month at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
With Black Friday savings during Happy Honda Days, own or lease your new Honda Accord or Civic today. Your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Visit us at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Around here, Maverick is more than a name. It's who we are. My dad climbed power poles for a living, and he taught me to keep homes running when it gets cold. This November, donate 5 canned foods to our holiday food drive and choose a furnace tune-up or an electrical safety check. We'll collect your cans at the appointment and keep your heat comfy and your lights steady. So the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com. Limited November appointments. Some restrictions may apply.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
I gotta believe that's why I'm still sitting here today, because they went with the hot hand 25 years ago. That was Tom Brady saying, yes, you stay with Mac Jones. That was Tom Brady.
I mean, what does Tom Brady know about football?
Hey.
I mean, isn't his team like 2-7 this year?
How many, okay, which is funny because for Brock, if Brock, let's say, ended up losing his job, right? Brock being the initial Tom Brady story, being drafted very late in the draft, to then get taken over by the second part of Tom Brady's story, which is somebody coming in with the hot hand, that would just be a funny thing, and I don't think that's going to happen. But my question is, Tom, I don't know that Tom's right or wrong, but how many hot hand quarterbacks are there, right? How many quarterbacks are out there right now where they were supposed to be a backup, took over, and then ended up balling out? Like, what's the hit rate on the hot hand QB thing?
I don't know about a percentage, but like, what is the difference between a hot hand quarterback and a second draft quarterback?
Yes. Well, where I thought you were going to go is, what is the difference between a hot hand quarterback and this was our plan, right? Because even Tom, I think Tom is saying, even though I was on the team as the young guy, I was a late pick, I don't know that I was part of the plan.
No.
Because I don't know that your boy, Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if we would count that as a hot hand thing because he was always going to take over, is my point.
No, Tom was a true capital B backup. I mean, he was a 6th-round pick with a quarterback who at the time was making $100 million, which was a lot.
Because Gino,
I think, is a hot hand quarterback.
But did they go to him during the season or going into the season?
They went to him when Russ got hurt, and then they decided to trade Russell Wilson to the Broncos.
So there's one.
That's a good one. But this is the thing. So, like, what do we do with Sam Darnold with the Vikings? Because he was supposed to be the backup.
I don't think that's hot. I don't think that's hot.
Daniel Jones,
Daniel Jones, yes, for sure.
But he was also a starter in the league for 7 years.
Oh, so was Mac. Well, Mac Jones was a starter in the league for a couple.
3 or 4.
I think it's hot. I think it counts.
Okay.
My whole point is there's not a lot of these situations. So for Tom to say, you always got to go with the hot hand, it's not like it's something that happens all the time.
There's very few where it's like, and then we had 10 years of success together.
That's my whole point.
Yes.
Like the Nick Foles thing. That was injury, and then the Jaguars said, hey, you're a starter, you're a Super Bowl champ, come on down. And then he was Nick Foles again.
But you forget that the year after, Foles took over again and led them to the playoffs again. And the Eagles still said, even though he was way more popular than Carson Wentz, doesn't matter what you're going to do, we're going to go with Carson Wentz. So I think that's kind of where Mac Jones is. Mac Jones could look like Brock Purdy during his MVP run in 2023, and they would still go with Brock Purdy.
Well, they have to.
Because they have no choice.
Yeah, specifically first year after. And you know what? A lot of this depends on what your situation is. I know the difference is Tua never technically missed time, but he was just bad. But if you have somebody waiting in the wings that can ball, this stuff can happen, which was always funny to me that Shanahan always kept, as much as they love Brock, Shanahan can't help himself, and he always kept himself a backup that was just good enough to have some type of controversy, whether it was Sam Darnold or now Mac Jones. A lot of times, teams just say, because especially in football, if you stink, you stink, right? Teams, they want to stay afloat, but also, hey, if we lose our quarterback, we're kind of okay with losing and going to get a draft pick. Shanahan is saying, no, I'm always going to hang around with somebody.
Someone on the Sack Chat makes a good point. I think what they were trying to make is Ryan Fitzpatrick did this in 3 different places, and none of those 3 places enjoyed like a decade of success with Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was Buffalo eventually moved on from him. The Jets eventually moved on from him. The Bucs eventually moved on from him. The Dolphins eventually moved on from him, even though Fitzpatrick was the hot hand in 4 different places, all in the AFC East pretty much. Every single spot said we will move on from him once the hot hand has cooled down.
And I think that is where the draft position comes back into play, because one thing that we've heard time and time again is, hey, well, that's why he went first round. So I do think this Mac Jones thing is different than a Fitzpatrick or some of these other stories where they will fall back on the cachet to say, well, we know Mac is in this position, but this is a first rounder. That cachet does go further than you think.
And Mac Jones is going to be under contract next year. So you just got the hot hand in your back pocket. Also, I looked up Brock Purdy's numbers. He's going to be the quarterback of the 49ers until at least the end of 2027. Then it's like actually reasonable they could move on from him. So they got 2 years of Brock Purdy for sure being on the roster. Play or not play, he's got 2 more years of he's definitely going to be on the team. No matter what happens.
Yeah, other conversations that come up, would you trade Mac Jones? That's what somebody asked going this offseason because you still got a year. I just don't think, I'm not saying that Brock is injury prone because we looked at the numbers and it's just confusing because of the elbow situation. But then after that, he hasn't missed a ton, but now this season he has. I mean, he's very close to injury prone. I'm not going to say he is, but he's pretty close to it. Either way, I can put the label on it or not. You literally can't trade Mac Jones. You cannot.
Depends what you can also get, right?
Yeah.
If someone's willing to offer you a 3rd-round pick for Mac Jones, then yeah, goodbye. Thank you for your service.
Or,
we'll find another one.
Well, that's my point. Or your argument is, yeah, we can trade Mac Jones because we think that somebody else could come in if Brock got hurt and kind of look like Mac Jones. But then my point would be, well, then why did you pay Brock Purdy that money?
If Shanahan was willing to storm up the office steps to prevent Brandon Ayuk from being traded, what do you think he would do if he heard they were going to trade Mac Jones?
Oh, my goodness.
Shanahan would just be like, no!
Yeah.
No!
Skip, running up, when you run up the stairs and you skip a step, he'd be skipping steps.
He would throw John Lynch's phone out of his office.
Yeah. You cannot... I don't think he would let it happen. If you're just now joining us, the early news of the morning is that Brian Daboll is out in New York. You have Jackson Dart. Somebody's asking me, is Jackson Dart a hot hand story? No, because he was going to be the QB of the future. So I don't count that. It's somebody who wasn't really in the plans. I think that's the easier way to say it.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart was clearly in the plans, but he was running too much. I think the leadership group of the Giants maybe had a conversation with Daboll saying, hey, chill with the running. And maybe they didn't. And maybe Daboll saying he's running on his own. I do think there are probably one too many planned running plays, and Daboll's out of a job. They did not mess around. They did not play around at all. And it went from Daboll looking at Jackson Dart as if he were his golden child, firstborn son, to being out of a gig.
Yeah, I think it's about game over for for the Giants. I mean, look, the Giants are going to do the thing that bad organizations do, which is not align the coach with the GM and the quarterback. They're going to have a GM who's going to be on the hot seat with a coach who's going to be brand new, with a quarterback who's in a big year to determine his development, and they're going to screw it up. I've seen this time and time again. The Giants are going to screw this up by not aligning the timeline.
Let me ask you this question. Is it time to go Danny Ainge, Utah Jazz, where Jackson Dart, his concussion just is not going away. They're 2-8 now. It's cooked. Do you just say, hey, no need to rush it?
Allen, this is the New York Giants. They'll find ways to lose Jackson Dart or not.
Russ, why don't you get on out here, buddy?
Forget Russ. Jameis, baby.
Go out here and spin it, Jameis. It's about that time.
This is the Tommy DeVito situation all over again. I mean, who cares?
This is. I don't know that we see. My point is, I don't know that we see Jackson Dart again.
No team better at. You know how you complain about the Raiders tank? No team better at knowing how to tank than the New York Giants. Yeah. No team better at it.
I don't know that we see Jackson Dart again this season, and I don't know if we should. All right, Kyle, let's get to some prop talk on a Friday. So we didn't have our band list. Schmal and Miles really struggled with Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson was the one leg, and in another leg, Stephon Diggs was about 8 yards away. Neither of them are banned, though. If anything, I'm banning J.J. McCarthy because there's no way Justin Jefferson shouldn't have hit. And Stephon Diggs, really weird game, but I think the Bucs just kind of took Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was 8 yards away, like in the third quarter, and somehow they didn't get it done. Kyle, No Tucker Kraft, unfortunately, for the Packers. I know the Packers are usually banned to me, but I think this is an obvious one. There's nobody to throw under to, so I'm going to go back to the well. Josh Jacobs, he has not hit his receiving yards in 3 games with no Tucker, as I mentioned. I think he's going to have no choice. A good defense that they're facing in Philly. So give me 18.5 Josh Jacobs receiving yards. I'm going back to the bread and butter, baby.
I'm going to the old well of the banned list because you said the whole Packers are banned. I'm going to try and guess which Packers receiver.
No.
Yes.
No.
Which, by the way, they all, the thing knows because they all have the Devils. Like, you just can't do a straight up version. So one big catch is all you need. Matthew Golden, 29.5. Red Devil. I'm going Matthew Golden is the one tonight.
As soon as you turn it on, Christian Watson,
or
60.
Or Dubes.
No, stupid. Whenever I take Dobbs, he does not catch anything. All right, the Drive Guys coming up next. Whitey Gleason, Jay Johnson, live from Hard Rock Casino. Thank you to all the callers, texters, Sack Chatters. We will be back tomorrow. And until then, secure the bet. Like the beat.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
Tomorrow night, Kings and Nuggets. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 6:30 with tip-off at 8. Listen to your Sacramento Kings.
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
NBA fans, the race for the Emirates NBA Cup is on.
Let the games begin.
30 teams will start, but only